We're up.
We're up.
What is happening, y'all? It is just a little later start than usual. It's 12:45, September 26th. It is Tuesday in lovely Los Angeles. Thank you for tuning in. There's a million podcasts out there, but you chose to listen to this one. Or watch. Depends. A lot of people like to watch.
So different, yeah. Watchers don't usually... Well, no. I say listeners watch, but a lot of watchers sometimes don't listen.
Yeah,
It's
they
weird.
just want to watch.
Yeah.
Like I watch Breakfast Club a lot with Charlemagne,
Yeah.
DJ Envy.
Cool.
And I've never listened to it. I listened to it when I was in New York. I had the driver turn to it. It's not as good. I wonder if we're not as good listening. We have way more listeners than we do. Well, I shouldn't say way. Well, we have 150 something thousand subscribers. We definitely get more audio downloads. Definitely, that's the way
audio's
people
the
listen.
number one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But the watchers, it's weird, yeah. I guess sometimes people just want to watch. The people that want to watch just want to watch.
I get it.
I guess.
Definitely get it. Yeah, fresh back from New York. We're in and out doing some work for Showtime. I got some cool stuff in the works with those guys. But I was there with Deontay Wilder. Never met the guy. Been a fan of the guy forever. Probably my favorite interview I've ever done.
Wow.
I should say the most fun I've ever had. Just because he's just a good dude and fun. Like sometimes, especially with certain fighters, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. And, I did all my homework on Deontay Wilder, and obviously I'm familiar with his fights. I've been watching him fight for a while. But and I know his story and stuff like that. So, but those interviews are boring, man. Like we got Rory MacDonald and Douglas Lima today. Obviously, I'm gonna have to talk about them fighting, but everyone says the same thing. No one's gonna actually tell you what they actually feel about the other guy. You got to sell tickets, you got to create hype. So that's so boring to me.
Yeah.
What's next? And it's just, how do you match up against? Of course, you're gonna say you're gonna win. Of course, and if you know anything about fighting, of course you know where a guy's strengths and weaknesses are, especially to a matchup. So you just have him regurgitate it. I don't watch that stuff. I fast forward through that stuff. So Deontay Wilder is fun just because fashion, life. I think he has 5 kids.
Wow.
5 kids. I don't think he gets the respect he deserves. Right? There's argument, rightfully so, for the opponents he's fought, but that's just the heavyweight division. And then how he deals with social media, because he's a big social media guy. He actually beat up a kid off social media. Do you know this? You ever heard this?
Oh, I think I remember this now.
Deontay Wilder's that guy. He wasn't as big as the time. Now when you think about it, it's pretty hilarious.
Wow.
So this troll kept hating on him. And he goes, cool, man, come down to my gym if you're going to talk all this shit, because guys, I guarantee I can knock you out. Goes down to his gym, gets knocked out by Deontay Wilder. It's hilarious. It's on video. The guy's like trying to run, too.
What do you mean?
He's hitting. He's like he has no. Just this shit boxer.
Yeah,
gets knocked out. It's
I'm
hilarious.
He showed up.
It's hilarious.
That's cool though. I like the fact that he did show up at least.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could do that now, being as big, in the public eye as he is, but. But yeah, I don't know if they got to sign a waiver or what.
They have to. Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know how that works out.
Or even, if he commented, say and he says, I will be there, and then he shows up, that's proof enough that he agreed to the fight. I would think.
Does that hold up?
I would think it would. But I'm
you can't
almost
sue him
positive
because he
do it.
agreed to come in and he knows the repercussions.
Yeah, and it's written down there, people could see it, so yeah. I don't see how he can get sued. I hope not. Pretty sure they signed a waiver. Huh? Yeah.
Crazy. But he's one of my favorite interviews. And the thing is, too, is now I'll always root for the guy. Mm-hmm. Always, man. I'm the biggest Anthony Joshua fan, too. I've been dick riding Anthony Joshua for quite some time now, if you've ever listened to me talk about boxing. So I'm an Anthony Joshua. I like both of them. I think they're going to fight. Joshua fights. I think they announced it end of October on Showtime against Pulev, the Russian, and then Deontay Wilder fights November 4th, same night as UFC 216 in Madison Square Garden. Wilder's fighting at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
217 is Madison Square, right?
There you go. 217. Okay. Yeah, 217 November 4th. So that you have, and then Wilder's fight ends before the UFC starts, which is brilliant.
Perfect.
I might be at both.
Nice.
Might be out there doing something for both. Could be cool. It's very smart for them to end early before the UFC. Thank God for me too, so I can see both, because that Madison Square Garden card's ridiculous.
Yeah. How did the interview go? And is it going to come out soon or?
See, I never know when they release them. I just do them, and then next thing I know, they chop them up, and then I'm sure it'll come out right before his fight to create some hype. So October. So I bet it comes out I would say next 3 weeks.
Cool.
Because it goes right, coincides right before, trying to build the hype up for that fight. He's fighting Ortiz, so obviously to get a ton of views, Wilder's the play here. Because if you know anything about Luis Ortiz, I kind of covered a little bit of it on Fighting Kid, but Luis Ortiz is a Cuban descent. He's here now in Florida. Has like 400 amateur fights. I want to say he's 22-0 or 24-0. It's fair to say he's a knockout artist. Most heavyweights are, but Deontay Wilder's 34, 33 knockouts. Like, that's a knockout artist. But Luis Ortiz is the guy no one wants to fight. He's the boogeyman division. No one really knows who he is. He's a southpaw, granite chin, 6'5". He's problems, man. A lot of problems for guys. So, boxing's good right now. And then if I don't know how balls deep guys are into boxing, but Danny Jacobs, you'd be familiar with him. He's the guy who lost in the controversial decision to Triple G. Triple G's last fight before Canelo. And he's a bigger guy for Triple G. But anyways, he just signed with HBO, which is a bummer because I thought he was going to be on the undercard of Wilder Ortiz.
But you said he was fun, right? A fun interview. So.
Wilder, great interview.
So what was fun about him?
He's just like he's kind of silly. He's kind of silly. He talks a lot of shit. He knows. I shouldn't say he talks a lot of shit. He's confident, but not in a weird, like, cocky way. Like, not in a fake way. He's just like, yeah, man, I'm gonna knock him out. Like, that's what I do. I've seen it. Like, I believe in my skills. I'm like, it's a tough fight, right? He's like, yeah, of course it's a tough fight. But I think I'm gonna knock him out. If I was 34-0 with 33 knockouts, of course I'm gonna knock you out. Absolutely. He's just fun, like he's like one of the guys. Cool. Which a lot of times, certain guys that they always have their walls up. They think you're trying to get some headline on them. I'm not a journalist. I don't need a headline. I'm not trying to break news. I'm not trying to find out. I don't know. I don't care about that stuff. I don't need some breaking. I just want a conversation, like we're having coffee, and you guys happen to record and film it. That's the fun stuff. Cool. So you make these connections, man. So I'll be rooting for that guy. And then this weekend, a lot of fights. So you had Bellator. You had Parker versus Fury, and again with Parker from New Zealand. I think it's a combination of things where the Furies are tough to they're all up in arms because they lost the fight. It's tough with their fighting style, especially at heavyweight, where they stick and move. And on the Fighting Kid, maybe I was a little too harsh on Parker. I just feel like against taller guys, he's going to have some issues, especially taller guys that don't kind of move like Fury. He's going to have some issues. But it's still a fun fight. Great win for Parker in Manchester, in Fury's backyard, right across literally the street from Anthony Joshua's fan base. So it's a smart move. I enjoy watching him. Heavyweight's fun as fuck right now. Even though Klitschko retired, heavyweight's fun as fuck. Then you had Bellator, which was the best card of the weekend. UFC Japan was good, but I think Bellator kind of stole the show. Aaron Pico, that one of the worst knockouts I've ever seen. The Justin Lin kid, I think they mentioned he didn't have a corner or anything. Like he's I don't know if he's self-taught. Our fans are for sure going to correct me, but he came out like flipping the crowd off. You're fighting Aaron Pico at 45, where Pico featherweight, where Pico's should be fighting not 55, not 70. Last time he fought a standard, and Aaron Pico, although it's his second fight, he still looked good. He got that great takedown. I wish he would use a little more wrestling just to relax and calm his nerves in there because he's so tense. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
He's so fucking tense, and he's throwing with bad intentions. The technique's there, the wrestling credentials there, the grappling's there. I'm sure the cardio's there, but just the experience isn't. So I'd like to see him just kind of calm down a little bit because he's still getting hit. He's not moving as much as he should, especially with a guy with his boxing pedigree. His head movement's not there. He's staying in the pocket and waiting for the guy to answer back, which, especially at this level, I'd like to see him kind of just relax a little more. But that knockout was nasty. If you haven't seen it, look it up. Ian Pico versus Justin Lin, Linn. It's the first round, almost 4 minutes in. He just...
He knew it was over.
That's the Pico you want. Yeah, that's the Pico I thought. Yeah. Everyone's giving me shit because on the Madison Square Garden card, I was like, this kid's the next LeBron. He's basically LeBron James of mixed martial arts. Like, he has this pedigree, man. He's just this monster, and we know he's going to be great just a matter of time. Then his first fight, he basically fights at 170 or at 55 and gets choked out. Again, he comes in too aggressive. He doesn't have that respect yet with the mixed martial arts gloves on. He'll get there, though. And then Roy looked good against that Javi Ayala.
Eye Candy Ayala.
Eye Candy?
His nickname is Eye Candy.
Jesus Christ. He looked like me if I put on 150 pounds.
He does.
He looks like me if I just said,
he does.
Life.
Have you seen him?
He looks like me if I was like, fuck it. Chick-fil-A every day. I mean, him. He looks like my older brother had made many bad decisions. When I say bad decisions, I mean with food. He's a phenomenal fighter. Eye Candy, huh?
His nickname's Eye Candy.
What a great nickname. He looks like me. A little bit like me, right?
A little bit.
I see it a little bit.
Is that a reach, MJ?
It's a bit of a reach.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
he gave Roy a little bit.
Yeah. But he was super athletic, right?
Yeah, hell yeah, his footwork. Yeah, I was like, damn, that's a tough fight for Roy. That guy's gonna give a lot of people problems. Mm-hmm. You go to his record for me, Chin? Some fight once before against Kira Turnov, I think. Kira Turnov?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
And he beat him. Yeah, he knocked him out. That's right. Then he has some weird losses. Eric Prindle, Theo Dos Santos. He has some weird losses, but yeah, he's a tough customer, man. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight him next because he gave Roy all he could handle. He landed some great shots on Roy too.
Yeah.
He's a good his cousin's Joe Soto. That's cool, man. I like this guy. What else you got? Well, go back to the results. Mm-hmm. Eye Candy, hell of a nickname, Mr. Javi. And then Paul Daly, Lorenz Larkin. Lorenz is just falling on tough times.
Yeah.
I think he's number 6 or even 5 in the UFC at welterweight, and then comes over to Bellator. And I'll get into this with Rory MacDonald and Lima, but it's fascinating because everyone thinks there's this huge gap between Bellator and UFC, and there's not, especially at the top level. There's not. Douglas Lima could come in right now in the UFC and top 3, top 4 at least. Like, he's going to give everyone problems. And it's, for me, and I love Lorenz Larkin. Everyone knows this. I'm a huge Lorenz Larkin fan. As a businessman, if I'm Scott Coker, it's kind of good to see guys come in like Ben Henderson, Lorenz Larkin, because it validates what you're doing.
Of course.
Like, if every UFC guy came over and just cleaned house, then they're like, yeah, there you go. It's the UFC. You guys are so far behind. But guys aren't coming in cleaning house. Guys are coming in and they're struggling. Yeah. But again, it's only the top level. You give Lorenz Larkin, he went out of the top 3, 4, he's smoking them. But those top, in each division, those top 3 are just as good as the UFC. They're right there. Maybe not heavyweight. Well, even heavyweight. And Mitch Rowan's going to give guys some problems. Roy, light heavyweight, yep, Phil. Yeah, and so their top are going to give anyone fits anyways. And then Ben Henderson, I thought, got fucked. Again, Lorenz Larkin, to my point, Ben Henderson, Lorenz Larkin, they come over and it's not going according to plan. Mm-hmm. Everyone thought they were coming in clean house. Ben's had, and he should. Ben's one of the best lightweights of all time. Lightweight champion in the UFC, and comes over, and these are the guys you should be fighting, but he's struggling. I thought he won that fight. He got screwed, but it is what it is. And then with UFC Japan, fun card. Not going to blow your hair back. Fun card. I think the whole hype that Andrade and Claudia Gadeja got was not necessary. Not at all. 30-25. I thought it should have been 30-25 across the board. 30-25, 30-26, 30-27. Out of all the fights, everyone was talking about that. It was just a straight up ass whooping. So I guess people were talking about because everyone was surprised because Claudia Gage is the best strawweight in the world, not named Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So, and she's always kind of that perennial number one. She just wins one, gets a title fight, wins one, gets a title fight. But then Andrade comes in and just, absolutely manhandles her. She even said, and Claudia's obviously Brazilian, Jessica's Brazilian. And she goes, Claudia didn't train in Brazil. She's not Brazilian.
Yeah.
It's just me going to Japan to beat up another American.
She did say that.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious and very, very smart. Claudia's probably my favorite strawweight to watch too. As far as dynamic, mixing it up, cardio, great at grappling, striking. Like she's just this little monster. And how funny is it? Jessica Andrade and Claudia Gadeja, Joanna, beat Claudia twice and beat Jessica Andrade once. Beat the brakes off of Andrade.
Yeah.
Remember that fight? She's like a little John Lineker, just keeps going forward. That shows you how good Joanna is. OSP with the Von Flue choke. We should just call it the OSP choke. Okami I don't get it. Granted, he was fighting at 70, fought at 85. Now he's at 205 just for this short notice fight. But that doesn't mean you just throw your technique out the window. He looked like shit. How you hang on to a half-ass guillotine when you know OSP, that's his number one go-to choke, is insane. It doesn't make sense. It's just, that's amateur hour. But shit happens. Gomi. I don't know if you listen to the show. I'm not even sure you speak English. But if anyone listens, and Gomi's Japanese, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm getting it right. I'm getting better, man. Gomi. If any of your friends are listening, someone translate to them. Stop. Fucking stop fighting. You got to stop, man. Have you seen how many fights he's lost?
Yeah, dude.
You're talking about one of the best lightweights of all time. It's depressing, man. I don't get why you do it. It's not like you're making bank, bro. And it's just you're fucking your legacy up. This is like when BJ Penn kept fighting. Look at that. Everyone, their mom lining up. It's like a fucking gangbang.
Yeah, man.
Everyone, their mom lining up to bust a nut on your face, man. You stop. Everybody. I mean, he's lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's lost 6 as last 7.
Do you think he was stopped? I mean, I know he was on his way to lose, but do you think he was stopped too early?
Fuck no. Hell no. I don't see him get beat up even worse. That Dong Young Kim is a monster. There's a minute 32, and it was just a straight flush. Was it right hand? Just a straight flush right on that fucking, right on his grill. He needs to stop, man.
He does need to stop, though. I agree.
Please stop.
I like him.
So many L's. So many L's. You're fucking up your legacy. And then I'll tell you right now, Gokhan Saki, I will watch that man fight any day of the week.
So fun.
So fun. That Turkish Tyson is so fun to watch. And I like his how humble he was too after, because De Silva's the perfect opponent for him. Listen, the guy's not going to grapple with him. He didn't even think about it. He's just going to sit there and strike with him. And, Saki even said, was like, I'm definitely going to change my camps and my training moving forward. Like, this is my first one. I think he was surprised by how, he was landing some good shots on De Silva, and De Silva's just in his grill, not going away. But I'm a Gokhan Saki fan. I was a fan of him in kickboxing. Now he's in the UFC. I kind of made fun of this signing a little bit, and I'll eat my words because I will watch him fight anybody. Him versus Manawa would be a great fight.
Yeah.
He's not 205er. He hits like one, but I think he would have more one-punch knockout power at 85 if you want to cut, but I don't know. He's later in his career. It's going to be interesting if he does get someone with some sort of grappling. But don't do that to him. I wouldn't do that to him. I don't think he's trying to become the world champion at light heavyweight. You know what DC would do to him? I mean, come on. Let's get real. And he just doesn't have the time to learn the grappling. But give him the fun matchups. Give him, even though, I was going to say Glover. Glover's a ridiculous grappler. Glover Teixeira is fun if he just wants to box, but Glover would take him down and literally choke him out with 2 fingers. You got Glover. You got Manawa.
Manawa's probably the best, I think. Right?
Shogun?
Yeah.
Why not Shogun?
You think Shogun would actually
Little Nog?
him? Little Nog is good, too.
Little Nog?
Yeah, that's a good one.
But, I mean, granted, Little Nog has a black belt. Shogun has a black belt.
Yeah.
But those guys like to strike. That's an easy. So it depends what they want to do. If they want to make it fun, those are fun matchups. If you just want to get the win, all right, go ahead and trip them, with 1 foot and take him down and ground him out. But
Dude,
Jimmy Manawa though.
Ozdemir. What if you went up against Ozdemir?
Oh, that's a great fight.
Right?
But
But he's
Ozdemir,
always too high now, yeah.
well, Ozdemir might take it though. Goko Ansaki's a legend. They both have the kickboxing background. That's not a bad idea. Let me see those light heavyweights right quick. It's not a bad idea at all.
Right?
Eye Candy's still up in that bitch. What a great name. What do I call him Eye Candy? He's not exactly a dime piece. Right?
Well, his name is Ayala, so I's in there. So there's
Ayala,
Eye Candy
Eye Candy?
Ayala. Yeah.
I like Ayala Candyman.
Candyman sounds
Candyman.
better.
Candyman.
Because he is thicker. Like he's on the thicker side.
Thick. Thicker than a Snickers. Great guy, though. Let's see. Jimmy Manawa, yes. Shogun, yes. OSP, yes. Little Nog, yes. Pedro, yeah.
Ooh,
there
yeah.
you go. Pedro. Why not
Yeah.
give him Pedro?
That's a good one. And even Jean.
John Vellante.
Mm-hmm.
See, but the problem is these guys have, like, Vellante, if you want, John could take him down all day as a wrestling pedigree. Little Nog wrestling pedigree, Pat wrestling pedigree up the ass, Latifi wrestling, Misha grappling, Corey grappling, OSP. You know, yes, OSP's a good one. Shogun's a good one. Manawa, good one. Glover, be fun, but Glover could just wrestle him like a motherfucker. Then Ozdemir. See, I like a bunch of matchups for him.
I think you're right, though. I think Mano is probably the best.
Or Pedro. I like Pedro. Realistically, I can see Pedro happening. Why not? You just got to find someone to stand with him. It was a fun card, though.
Yeah.
Told you guys it's going to be a fun one.
Did you watch the Hyun Lim Daichi Abe? The Japanese dude, tall Korean dude.
I did not.
It was pretty good.
I did not see the prelims. God damn it. I mean, decision. Yeah, I definitely didn't watch those. What else we got, man? There's no fights this weekend, right?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing big, at least. Yeah, no Bellator, no UFC.
No Bellator, no UFC. I got a Reebok package sent to the studio.
I know.
That's interesting. The guy from Reebok reached out to me. Great guy. Let's say his name's Kevin. A phenomenal guy. It started with Rogan and my conversation about that Zuffa boxing shirt. I was like, I'd wear the shit out of that because it's different. There's no Zuffa box. It's kind of hilarious to me. I just thought it was cool. And then he reached out. I was like, oh, we'll send you one. And then we started talking back and forth. And they sent me some stuff. It's actually great gear. Now, this isn't the fight gear. This is like their normal stuff.
Clothing.
Like, yeah, straight up clothing, shoes, like streetwear. And it's great. I have mixed feelings on it. I know
They're
he's
trying to
gonna-
convert you.
I know he's going to listen to this. It's tough because I don't know. Like one of the reasons I stopped fighting was because of the Reebok deal.
Yeah.
And I was, the first guy who was very outspoken about the Reebok deal, and it definitely nudged me even more so into retirement. And what they stand for as far as the not paying the fighters what they're worth. So I've mixed feelings about it. It's great gear. They're doing better. Even the fight kids are better. They're one of the reasons I retired, which is a good thing because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing the comedy, which I love, and doing everything. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. You also kind of grow up too, Like at the time, I had so much animosity, and I was upset with Dana and Reebok, and I thought I deserved this and that. But you kind of just grow up and you're like, that's all good, man. Like the deal they signed, they didn't know what they were getting into. They thought it was going to be good for everyone. They had no idea how much money I made. I wasn't ranked in the top 5. They didn't know I had this other side hustle and doing this, and I was marketable over here. And they just, not that they cared either. Maybe they didn't even know who I was. It was just kind of a overall umbrella, and they're like, oh, yeah, being part of the UFC, a lot of times when you think, oh, they're screwing me over, they're not even thinking about you, man. You're not that big of a deal. It's not like they're like, oh, this deal's going to screw over Brendan Schaub. I doubt anyone thought that, It's more about the direction of the company, stuff like that. So I think now would I be singing a different tune if I didn't have the success I'm currently having? Probably, maybe, I don't know. But you just grow up and you just look back like, oh God, that was stupid, But the Reebok, the Dana stuff, the all sorts of stuff that nudges you and puts these chips on your shoulder to get you down the road you want to go. So without them, I don't know if I'm here. So I don't know. And then our fans can be like, how dare you wear Reebok? What the fuck are you doing? Like, dude, we've been.
Do you think they would actually do that though? I mean,
I don't know. And you know me, usually I don't really care when people criticize me as far as my opinions, what I wear. I dress like an asshole. I have a weird haircut. It's actually part of my bits a lot of times. But with Reebok, it's a little different. I feel like it's a little sensitive.
I can see that a little bit. But I mean, if you think something's cool, you're not going to be dishonest and say like, "Oh, it's."
No, that's what I said, and I even told the Reebok guy, like, "You guys are making a lot of improvements, man. And like for what it's worth, like I think you guys are doing a better job." Now, as far as the payment structure of the fighters, I don't know if that's on them. That's like, I don't know if that's on. That's a whole issue with the sport in general, not Reebok and the sponsorship. Mm-hmm. That's the whole sport in general. So I don't know if you can hold their feet to the fire. Like, what do you expect us to come in and save the day? We're coming in as a apparel sponsor. We made the deal with the suits. They told us this is what it's worth. What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I used to. When I was in the thick of things and retiring, all that was going down, and people were like, "Oh, you're not making as much as you say." And I had my tax returns and gave them to Rogan. Like, we're in the thick of it. And my girl's mom wore Reeboks in my house. I made her take her Reeboks off, threw them outside.
No,
I mean, when I'm in, man. Like I was hurt, man. There was fire. I know that sounds petty as shit. You just get older, man. And it's just, you look back and like, oh my God, you're embarrassed of a lot of things. But it gets you where you're going.
Yeah, but you've evolved past that.
Evolved past it, and
you went through it.
You go through it, and again, remember, nothing's personal. They didn't make the Reebok deal to screw me over. They didn't make the Reebok deal, despite me. They're not even thinking about you. Yeah. So you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what's best for you. Whenever you're not that big of a deal, man, in this grand scheme, in this world, and that you're just a small grain of sand. Beach doesn't give a fuck about the grain of sand. It just keeps going, man. When you think you're more important than you are, you're going to get upset over everything.
Yeah.
I trust me when I tell you guys this. Maybe it's in your line of work, whatever it is. You're not that big of a deal, and that goes for even huge people, famous people. The grand scheme of things. When these actors throw these diva trips and freak out on directors and stuff like that, and they might be the star of the movie. Again, this business keeps on keeping on. Comics who are tough to deal with, the show goes on. You're not that big of a deal. You might have all these followers, and you might be selling tickets, or you might be this big movie star, and you start, freaking out and acting like an asshole. The show goes on. Same with the UFC. The UFC's show goes on without John Jones. Show goes on without Ronda Rousey. Show goes on without Brock Lesnar. You're not that big of a deal. No one is. You're just not. Once you learn that, I think it's easier to just be like, I got to focus on me. Fuck, of course, they're going to do them. I got to do what's best for me. You got to be selfish. Because they're not thinking about you, man. So, what current events we got, Jen? I don't know if you're going to see me wearing Reebok. I mean, it's great gear. If it's good, you probably wear it.
Yeah. I wonder where to go with this.
Chin just decked out in Reebok. They're paying you a salary now.
I know, right? No, but I honestly think people have way more respect for people when they're honest, right? So
yeah, it's petty stuff.
Yeah,
but it's petty stuff. Like I got bigger fires to put out than my old issues with Reebok.
Exactly. So if you really dug one of their shirts,
I love those shirts. I mean, so that stuff. The gear they sent me, Kevin sent me, is legit as shit.
Slap it on.
I've been hating on them forever.
Just wear it.
And I was so blue in the face about it. I get sick of talking about it. It's over, man.
What's cool that It's gotten here now.
Yeah.
It's gone to where you work.
Did you see the Kingslayer? Someone tagged me on Instagram. The Kingslayer got some, they look like common projects. It says the Kingslayer.
No.
It has the Lannister logo on it from Game of Thrones.
Pull it up.
Kingslayer with the Lannister logo?
Oh, dude. What's that actor's name?
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh, you guys don't like Game of Thrones. If you go to...
Am I right
So
here?
his name's Jamie Lannister, correct? But what's the actual actor's name? Oh, his name's Nikolaj Koster. Go to his Instagram, and people tagged me on it. Damn, there's a shitload of kids. Powerful Kingslayer. These fucking kicks they sent him, man. Damn, he's 47.
Let's check it out.
There they are.
Where?
Top left.
This one?
Yes. Look, this just arrived. Now I know what to wear when Leeds United wins the championship. Look at these. Who made these? Look at that. And that's the Lannister logo. How sick are those?
It's pretty spicy.
Right?
Is that
Pretty
the word
crunchy.
spicy?
I say pretty crunchy. Yeah. Pretty spicy. Aren't those sick?
They look cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Where can I buy those? Why don't they make Game of Thrones like gear? I'd side with the Lannisters.
No good pictures, though.
I'm going to do another collab with Greats. We should do something like that. I wonder how
Gold
hard that color combo is to
Gold-plated?
do.
Whoa.
Let me go
Refresh.
hit play again. What the bottom is, yeah, it's gold.
It's like a goldish.
You know what? You're not going to sell those to the masses. For a shoe collector like myself, though,
Yeah.
I'd
How
wear
much does
the
that run?
fuck out of those.
much does
They
that
look like
cost?
common projects. He doesn't say what they are, though.
What is Leeds
That's a
United?
soccer
That's his-
team.
Oh, okay.
Or football team if you're in Europe listening. Those
You should-
Kingslayer shoes are dope.
DM him and ask him.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure people will hit me up and tell me.
You're in awe.
I saw him. I was like, holy shit, I want some Game of Thrones kicks. That's the next goal. Fuck Yeezys, Jordans. I need those Kingslayers.
Are you like legitimately a sneakerhead?
Yeah.
So you are?
Yeah. Big time.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Yeezys. They're comfortable as shit. They're well made, hold their value. Jordans, therefore, Jordan 1s are probably my favorites. I have some Jordan 5s, Jordan 11s. But as you get older, I still like them. I still rock them here and there, but I wear more premium, like these are they look like Converse. These are Gucci. Like I wear more premium, like designer shoes. If that makes sense. More boots. I'm getting older, man.
So would
Like,
you
I love like boots.
Would you wear those at my age?
Yeah, 100%. I just bought my boy Todd Feldman. He just turned 44. I bought him these common projects they're not that shiny. If you wear with the right jeans and the right shirt, you're gonna look pretty dope. If you're into fashion, you're a fashion one, dude. You could pull those off. But I bought
I think so.
You could pull those off, but like,
Think so.
my agent Todd Feldman, I think he turned 43 or 44. Either way, he's in shape. Good looking dude. I just bought him a pair of common projects. They're not that shiny, but they look identical to those. But they're like
Sweet.
like a dark green suede. They're sick. You definitely wear those. But like if you wore low top cons with jeans, it'd be tough to go out in LA and though, like you look like an asshole. Like you got to grow up a little bit.
Low top Converse and jeans?
Yeah, like out. Did
What's
you come
wrong
in with
with
your
that?
skateboard, Dennis the Menace? You know what I'm
my
saying?
God.
Like there's a bit of a line drawn, you know?
That's so weird because I would think Converse would be like okay to do, but this, if I wore this,
Some
jeans.
some high end shit.
I know, but still.
leather at least. Like if you're wearing,
Shiny.
you know, they're not like you can't wear low top cons out to a nice dinner. Unless your name's fucking Rob Derrick, you can't wear. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do that.
I'm gonna break the mold. I'm gonna do it.
You could wear some like all black ones. They have some like nice leather ones. Have you seen the new ones? They have like Nike Air Luminaire bottoms. They're like way more comfortable.
There's some fresh styles now.
Yeah, they're doing way better. Converse is kicking ass. I think Nike owns them now.
Oh,
They're kicking
makes sense.
ass.
Yeah.
If you go to like the Converse stores off 3rd Street, they get some cool shit.
Spicy stuff, huh?
Spicy, as MJ says. Spicy.
Crunchy and spicy.
How about the Chinder shirt we're about to drop?
That's spicy and crunchy.
Spicy.
Spicy, crunchy roll.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's definitely a spicy, crunchy
It's
roll.
a sweet shirt, though.
It does look bad.
It's one of my favorite shirts.
Well, it's definitely my favorite.
And it's a collab, and I'll list off the artists who helped us. It's a collab off 3 or 4 artists that sent us these submissions of
dedications
artwork.
and stuff like
Dedications,
that,
yeah. So we combined like all of them to make this one Chinder shirt. It's literally one of my favorite shirts. I can rock that one. I could definitely rock that one. I could wear that one on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious.
Dude, it would look awesome.
Yeah.
Chin, you have to wear that shirt with these shoes.
Can you imagine? That shirt actually would probably match these shoes because it's like a golden brown tinge to it.
See, those are type of shoes, and like you, if you only have 3 pairs of shoes, you don't want a fancy shoe like you don't want a loud ass shoe like that. 'Cause you can't wear that much.
You need something.
You wear
simple
those
with
every
that.
Friday, in all black, or there's gray. Like Greats makes very similar ones of those.
Do you have a Twitter for your shoes?
No,
What? Someone said that. I was like, what?
a Twitter for my shoes.
Yeah. Word around the block, and I didn't like.
It's like a fake account.
Must be.
I don't know.
I'll look into it.
That'd be interesting.
Investigate.
Does
Yeah, I
it
don't know.
just say
I almost blew my
Brennan?
asshole out today deadlifting.
Oh Jesus.
I know. I just thought about that.
What happened?
My trainer Glenn was like, "Let's go for PR max." I was like, "What? I'm 34, bro. I'm like fucking maxing out." He's like, "Well, all right, maybe not PR max. Let's just mess around." And so it's the trap bar deadlift. So we went to 520 something.
Dear God.
Yeah, went to 520 something. We did like probably 10 sets. Yeah, I thought, and then I remember what it was on the Fire and Kid. We're talking about people with Ari, right?
I'll never
Blowing out
forget
their
that.
assholes.
Yeah, I'll never forget that image.
And that went through my head. I'm like, God, if I blow out my asshole.
I know. Dude.
It'd be a nightmare.
There's
I
no
don't know
way-
what made me think of that. I apologize to everybody, but I thought about blowing out my
It came out of
asshole.
nowhere.
Yeah.
There's no reverse to that, right? Can you heal from that?
Yeah, like spoon it back in.
God.
Push it back in. Like it's like, when putting toothpaste back into the fucking tube. It's nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried that?
Yeah, I did.
Toothpaste designers, do better. It's impossible. If I take out too much, you're just fucked.
I squeeze the sides and I try to take
You're like careful with
I
it?
dab it and I try to squeeze the sides so the air sucks it back in. And that never works right.
No, it's a nightmare. Do better. We got off topic here.
Yeah.
Let's go to the current events.
Sounds good, man. First current event, Paige Van Zandt versus Jessica Ai is no longer happening
Oh, that's a bummer.
for 216. And it's because Paige messed up her back.
Really?
Yeah, something.
How
it's
bad?
a disc injury. It
Yeesh.
doesn't, no surgery or nothing. She just needs time to heal. So she wants to do a fight, I guess, by the end of the year still.
If it's a bad back, she definitely shouldn't.
Yeah.
Especially disc, man. You gotta be careful with that. God, she's young too. To have disc issues is not fun. That's a bummer. 216 needs her. I like watching Paige fights. Like she's like when you see her fighting, it's like refreshing. Is that fair to say? Like she's not a world beater, but you can tell every fight she gets better and better. Grant, she beat, Michelle Watterson last fight. Michelle's a monster. And you can tell she's getting better and better. She's going to be a world beater. It's just a matter of time. She has all the looks. That's a bummer she's not fighting. What else you got?
The next one is Cyborg. So she's in Thailand right now, training in Thailand. And USADA sent over another agency because they couldn't do it for some reason to do a test for her. And I guess the gym that she was at, they called the police on that agent.
Why?
He didn't have a legitimate visa on him, but Cyborg did give him the
She
urine
still gave
test.
him
Yeah,
the urine?
so that's all done and fine. But the guy was actually held by the cops for a while. So
Seems someone called this is, I'm not going to give the guy's name out. I
Yeah.
don't give him attention, but seems someone called the cops on USADA agent sent to get Chris Cyborg's anti-doping sample to try and prevent them from taking the testing. Cyborg immediately responded back, I gave my sample without hesitation. I have no failed whereabouts in the past 12 months and wanted to maintain that despite the incident. This guy says, another dude says, the anti-doping conduct the testing on behalf of USADA. Generally seen several of the Tiger guys tested by DSAT. They were not Thai. There were other differences with how the samples collected. There were not normal procedures as well.
So it just seemed fishy.
It's fishy on USADA's part. This is USADA. You can't use a third party to conduct these urine and blood work, because what we've seen over time is this third party that you're using, obviously they're a little bit unprofessional. She says the procedure wasn't done to typical standards, so they're obviously a little unprofessional. And if for some weird reason we don't know what they're doing with it, they take their eyes off for a second and something goes into that urine and it fucks over Cyborg, her entire career is over. Do you really want to risk this third-party sample because you guys couldn't fly out there? Then don't test her. Test her when she gets back. She didn't have a fight coming up. Don't risk a fighter's career, their entire career, their entire financial being on you using a third party in Thailand because you're too lazy to get there. That's insane. If I'm Cyborg, I don't give him the test. If it's not from a USADA directly, they should not have to work with them.
Yeah. And if that test did for some reason fail, that should be a reason to be like, you need to test again.
It's crazy, man. It's very strange. What else you got?
Let's see. This one. This was on, this is a featured article on MMA Junkie, I think last week. I missed it somehow, but Darren Till, do you remember we were talking about Darren Till facing Donald Cerrone?
Yes, and I talked about how I don't know who Darren Till is and how it's a bad fight for Cerrone. You don't need to go into it, but
go for it.
So Darren Till and I have gone back and forth on Instagram through DMs, and I don't know how I want to deal with this. I have no qualms, no issue with Darren Till. I'm a fan. It's actually it's my fault for not, I guess, looking more into him. But at the end of the day, if you're on Donald Cerrone's side, I've known Donald Cerrone for a very long time. I've never met Darren Till in person. So I'm obviously going to be very biased toward Donald Cerrone. I've always said I wish Donald would slow down to get his title shot, do this, do that. I've said when he was co-hosting Fighting the Kid. So what are you doing, man? I think a lot of times he's mismanaged, but that makes Cowboy. That's not my fight. So with Darren Till, he has a great point. He's like, dude, I'm undefeated. You know, like I listened to the show, and then I mean, how am I not gonna? You know, why can't I get some shine? Like I'm an up-and-coming fighter. I'm undefeated, man. You know, he built his name up. So Darren Till, I know you listen to the show. I apologize. Me and him have gone back and forth. We're fine now. I'd be pissed too. I'd be mad too if I was listening to the show and the guy's just going, why would Cowboy take this fight? He shouldn't be taking this fight. I get it, man. I would be upset too. And when you hear Darren Till's story and you look more into him, he's a monster, man. Yeah. He's a fucking monster. And maybe this is the fight that gets him over the hump. He's undefeated in the UFC. He has one draw. You know, he's 3-0, 15-0. I wish him the best. He also has a huge task ahead of him with Donald Cerrone. And, you know, I mean, he should be fired up. That's good. That's the fighter in him. But we're cool, man. We've gone back and forth. Again, I wish him the best. And I'm sure we're going to be hearing from Darren Till a lot more these days.
And in this article, though, it says, like, they even side with you saying, like, it wasn't like a disrespectful thing. You just didn't hear about him at the time. That's what you were trying to say in the beginning.
Yeah, I think most, and when I say this, most Americans are kind of in my camp where they're like, what? Who's Darren Till?
I didn't know who he was either. You know, so.
And again, you guys, I do have a fight show. I'm not a journalist.
Yeah.
I'm not a journalist. I know a lot of upcoming guys, stuff like that. I would be upset too if I was Darren Till. 100%. I'm a Darren Till fan now. Looking into a story, so I apologize to Darren Till. A lot of times too, when I go off on these tirades, I forget how many people listen to the show. I have no idea sometimes. I don't know. I'd be fucking mad too if I was Darren, So I wish him the best, man. I'm sure you look at his skills, you look at what he's done, there's a good chance that kid's going to be champion one day. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Darren Till. I'd be upset too, man.
All right, moving on. Matt Brown announced that he's going to retire after his fight with Diego Sanchez at UFC Norfolk. And he went on his own Instagram to announce it.
Will be my retirement fight. Thanks for enjoying the ride with me. This will be an amazing show. Me and Diego will put on a show for all you. Maybe you said, yeah.
So, yeah, he said
you'd show too many times in that, but whatever.
What's that?
You said show too close together.
Yeah.
Amazing fight. We'll put on a great show for you. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so he says he's retiring, but he's not 100% leaving. So he's going to still be in the USADA testing pool. So that kind of says something, right? Like he's
not all the way out,
but he's announcing his retirement.
I think he's the coach, right, at Muscle Farm now. I think he took over the duties there.
I don't know.
I think that's what he's doing. So he put, I didn't get in this to be a journeyman or to be in second place. I came to this to be a champion, and I got very, very close to that. I think I was one round away from beating Robbie Lawler, getting a title shot. Being that I got that close right now, I don't feel like I have that hunger inside my heart. Definitely time to stop. That's going to get me back to the point, and that's not to say I won't ever come back one day. I don't plan on pulling out of USADA testing pool, and I don't plan on canceling my UFC contract because I'd like to keep that just in case there, but I'm not going to come back unless I plan on making a run for the title. It sounds like he hasn't come to 100% terms with not fighting anymore. Mm-hmm. Maybe leaves that door open for a super fight. I don't see a lot of super fights for him. He was always fun to watch, man. Matt Brown was a great fighter. He was that guy who just brought it every fight. And then he lost Cerrone, he lost to Jake Ellenberger.
What he says here also reminds me of what you said once before, where you're in the locker room before you're about to fight, and you were thinking about, not seriously thinking about it, but thinking about, like, what if I just left?
Yeah.
He was thinking the same thing.
Oh, really? Does he go?
What's
he go to say? Does he say more here?
He goes, I was sitting in the locker room. It literally crossed my mind to not even walk out. I just thought about walking outside, getting an Uber. You said the same thing,
yeah,
right?
Going back to the hotel and just being done with it. It wasn't out of fear. It wasn't out of nerves. It was just no excitement. I was kind of tired, a little bored, and just like, man, I don't know if I feel like doing this right now. Dude, so when he goes, Brown says, because when I was sitting in the locker room, it literally crossed my mind to not even walk out. I thought about just walking outside, getting an Uber, going back to the hotel, just being done with it. It wasn't out of fear. It wasn't out of nerves. It was just no excitement. I was kind of tired, a little bored, and just like, man, I don't feel like doing this right now. I mean, that seems to be a recurring theme of guys who are thinking about getting out, or I would imagine a lot more guys have had these thoughts. They just don't share them. I mean, that was me to a T. It wasn't the nerves. It wasn't that, how scary Travis Brown is, even though he's a scary dude as far as skill-wise, stuff like that. It wasn't the crowd. It wasn't anything. I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I was literally just like, God, I wish I didn't have to do this. Yeah. But, it's kind of, you sign this contract with the devil, and that's an extreme word there. But you see, or comparison, but you sign the contract with the devil. There's no turning back. I mean, you got to go out there and do it. Like you've gone this far, you'd be forever shamed of the guy that didn't walk that walk. So I get it, man. I get it, and it's so hard to explain that. And people are like, "What are you talking about, man?" But it's weird. You be in the back. You've had this 8-week training camp. You've shot the countdown show. You got your walkout gear. Your family's there. Your friends are there. And you're just like, fuck, man, I don't feel like doing this. And any other event, you could just be like, I'm not doing it. Let's do it tomorrow, or maybe some other time, I don't know. It's almost like, it's hard to relate to anything in the normal world.
Did it happen more than once with you, or just once?
It happened, which is weird. It happened early in my career against Roy Nelson. I just didn't feel like fighting. I literally was like, God, I wish I could do this any other day. I just don't want to do this right now. I just do not want to go out there. That might have been more to nerves and, experience. And then the only other time it happened really was where I felt like that, where I didn't want to go out there and I thought about leaving, was against Travis. When I fought Crow Cop after the fight was like the first time a little seed crept in. And, I was on 4-fight winning streak. Just got a knockout bonus for knocking out Crow Cop. That was the first time I thought about, I don't want to keep getting hurt like this and hurting people like this. Like this isn't my calling. This isn't what I'm supposed to do. I'm on a high, biggest win of my career. I'm obviously fucked up. I'm banged up, but I knew then like this isn't my future.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. I never asked you. So when you do those fights where you get beat up,
Yeah.
you're in pain, when does it actually start to feel normal again?
Like physically?
Physically. Or even mentally too.
A
week? Longer than a week?
About a week. Let's say you fought on Saturday. The fall on Saturday, you're starting to, things are starting to get a little less sore. Depends on the fight. But a week, 2 weeks to be safe. If you're concussed, about a week, 3-4 days. And then, when you're in the thick of it and you're in the hunt of, becoming a champion or trying to get a big fight, like it does, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like it's a different type of animal who signs up for that stuff. Like, I can't imagine being champion because there's just all these guys knocking at the door. Like like I could never relax. Like I'm always a guy who's always thinking. So as soon as the fight ended, I'd be in locker room like, all right, what's next? Who could they possibly give me? I just start thinking about what's next. And then you go home and you're like, all right, and you don't want to just sit at home and do nothing. You got to train because you got a good idea who's going to be next. It's exhausting, man. It's a rough go. People are like, that's fighting, bro. No, I get it, man. You guys are so tough, and I get it. You're such a badass. But it's a tough life, man. Tough life. Like I would not let my son fight. There's just easier ways to make a living. Hopefully, he has more skills than I had. But
you like that whole being busy all the time, right?
But see, there's a difference between being busy and being fear of being broke, and then having the anxiety of getting beat up or getting knocked out.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. It's kind of like think about if you had this bully and you're a grown man at 23 and he's never going to go away. He's working. He's constantly getting better. You might move here. He's moving there, and you can deal with it. And sometimes you're going to win, but that bully's constantly working, getting better, and you're just like, oh my God, go away, man.
Gotcha.
But he's there, and you're at Disneyland with your family. He's there. You know what I'm saying? The boogeyman's. It's like this boogeyman. You just can never get away from it. Yeah. People are like, Jesus Christ, man, you shouldn't have been fighting. I know, but a lot of these guys don't care. Like they're used to that, or they don't think like that. To them, it's not like that. To me, it was like this thing I could never get away from. I would be in Hawaii with all my best friends, having a great time, chicks everywhere, alcohol, anything I need. Boogeyman's there.
Yeah,
he's not doing this. He's training. Like, oh my God, this fucking boogeyman, or this bully. This bully that's never gonna go away. If that even makes sense to you guys.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's exhausting.
For me, it was exhausting.
Anxiety, yeah.
Exhausting. Anxiety, hard to sleep all the time. Again, especially when I was fighting. Even now, like no one knows the exact game plan of what's the best way to train. We don't know. Everyone's overtraining. I'm a guy, like, if I think if I outwork them, I'm going to win, I would always overtrain. I'd always, that's how I dealt with it. I would train so much. That's probably, I don't know if that's probably not the way to do it. There's better ways, but we don't, and they're coming, they're trying to figure them out, but that bully, that boogeyman's constantly a step ahead, always there. Disneyland, Hawaii, can't run from them.
Yeah.
Because you got to answer to them. Got to pay the piper.
That's a good way to think of it. It sounds like it sucks.
For some people, it does. Now, some people like that. I'm not saying fighting's a negative thing, but for me, it was exhausting. Comedy's different. Comedy's it's different. Obviously, you can punch in the head, and you're gonna have failures. But with comedy, it's like a painting you're never gonna finish. Like, it's a cool painting. Nowhere, you're never gonna finish it. You keep adding to it, but it's never ever done. And you keep adding. Oh, that looks cool back here. Cool. That looks like shit back here. If that makes sense. Like, don't get me wrong. There's anxiety to get better and come up with new bits and come up with new material and do this, but it's not the comedy. It's not a boogeyman anymore. It's like a good stress.
Yeah, and it's exciting, right?
It's exciting.
Yeah, that's the
There's
difference.
payoff.
I think.
In fighting, my grandma said it best. Like, I remember after every fight, before she passed away, I'd go to her house in Aurora. I would drive there after every fight, and she wouldn't watch them. They would never watch them. She'd wait to get a call from my mom or someone. And after every fight, I'd go there. She'd go, how'd it go? I'd win. And I'd tell her, and she'd always go, did anyone really win? She goes, did you get punched in the face? I go, yeah. She goes, did he get punched in the face? I go, yeah. She goes, then no one wins, Ren.
Jeez.
No one ever wins. You're both losers. No. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you for that. But she's right. Like, in the fight business, everyone's getting brain trauma. Winners, losers. You get a brain trauma. You get a brain trauma. You get a brain trauma. The boogeyman he's dishing them out like Oprah dishes out Priuses. Everyone's getting brain trauma. You win financially, I guess. I know it sounds like I'm shit on fighting, but when people listen and think about getting the career, when we say financially, let's say I made $100,000 a fight. People go, well, I make $50,000 at my job, man. You complain about $100,000? Hear me out here. Again, I know you guys are so tough, but hear me out here. That $50,000, whether you work at, maybe you're doing a job you love. I don't know what you're doing. Let's say it's, say you work at Starbucks and you're the best barista in the fucking world, and you have your benefits, you have everything. You're making $50,000, and you're 30 years old. You're gonna make that $50,000 unless you're a complete fuck up. Unless you start, I don't know, fucking the girl bringing up the coffees, or you're fucking up somehow. Unless you're just a royal mess up, you're probably going to have that job, unless you're a terrible employee. But let's say you're a legit employee, best barista in the world. You're going to have that job till how long can you make coffee for? Till you're 80, 85, eh? I know some badass 90-year-olds. So you're probably going to have a 40-year career with benefits, be able to plan, for a fact. Let's say every first of the month, you're going to get this paycheck for the rest of your life. That $100,000 I make that year, let's say I fight twice, say $200,000. I have no idea in 2 years if I'm going to have that money.
Yeah.
And then that $200,000 after taxes, let's just say $100,000 after taxes, 70. I'm going to pay my trainers, everything. The thing goes in it, so I'm taking home almost as much as you are at $50,000. But there is no certainty. I have no benefits. I have nothing. I have a very finite window. I don't know. Before, I remember the average UFC career was a year and a half. Last time I looked, that was like maybe 3 years ago. Let's say it's 3 years. Let's say you made $1 million per year for 3 years. That's $700,000. But that's for those. It will never get better. I have no benefits. There's no planning.
Every successful
and then what I do after that.
Yeah. Every successful businessman has his hands in a few different pots. Now you can do comedy. Now you're doing Showtime. You're raising a family. Like, that's a way healthier livelihood, in my opinion. And I feel like you're doing really, really well.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah, for sure. But, with fighting, you don't have time to think of that stuff. If you want to be and they say, well, get a manager who does that. They tell you, a lot of the managers aren't that high level. They're not figuring that out. They're just trying to make your next move while you're hot. Who knows how long? And that's professional sports in general. So people go, oh, these guys get paid way too much. Maybe for those 2 or 3 years that they've worked an entire lifetime to get to. They have 3 years. You think that money's going to last them for the rest of their life? Maybe if you're like a first-round draft pick in the NBA and you get a sign bonus of $100 million, well then, yeah, okay. But fighting? Conor McGregor's good. He can But he can retire and he can pay for his kids for the rest, But that's such an outlier, man. But that's what we all gravitate towards. Well, look at Conor. Hell yeah, I want my kid to be Conor McGregor. Fuck, man, I get that. He is such an outlier. He's the first guy to ever do. He's made more money than anyone ever in the sport. So when you compare it to him, don't do that. Compare it to the guys on the undercard. It's more than likely not. If he does make it, and that's a fucking huge if he does make it, he's going to be one of those guys. They're making 8-8, 10-10. They're working a straight up 9-to-5 job, but they're fighting for it. Literally fighting for it. I'm not saying it's all bad. This isn't to paint a negative picture on fighting. That's the realness of fighting. For some people, they're flourish. They're great at it. Hey, I'd rather do that work 9-to-5. Cool. Do your thing, man. I support it. Just saying, those are the logistics of fighting. I don't even know how we got started on that. Oh, Matt Brown. Not one to fight anymore. Shout out to Matt Brown. Good for him. He's had a great career. I love Matt Brown. What else you got? Weird tyrant.
No, that's cool information, man. It's good to know that stuff. That boogeyman thing or the bully thing is a really good analogy, too. All right. Andre Ward retired.
A lot of retirement. I love this. I know a lot of people criticize him, but he's walking away from the sport, at the very top of the game. So he says, I'm leaving because my body can no longer put up with the rigors of the sport, and therefore my desire to fight is no longer there. If I cannot give my family, my team, and the fans everything that I have, then I should no longer be fighting. This is what he's been fighting since he was 12. Gold medal winner. So he's been fighting since. So to the sport of boxing, I love you. You've been my side since I was 10 years old. You taught me so much. You've humbled me. You've promoted me. That's weird. You've promoted me. I've sacrificed a lot for you, but you've given me more than I could ever thought possible. You gave me a platform, made me a champion, helped me provide for my family. I'm forever grateful to you. You and I will always be synonymous, connected to the hip. Thank you for all the wonderful people I've come in contact with you. Made friends for life. I walk away from the sport of box today. I leave at the top of your glorious mountain, which is true, which was always my vision, my dream. I did it. We did it. That's awesome, man. It's a great story. If you know Andre Ward's family history, stuff like that, it's pretty amazing, man, for him to come from where he did to have boxing. Boxing was the one stable thing in his life when his family wasn't, for him to walk away and have the family he has now. And also the other thing is there's nothing left for him. A light heavy, there's really nothing. Triple G's never going to go up there. There's not a lot for him. That when they went, he might go to heavyweight, that's not true. He never wanted to do that. Someone else basically spread that, so he felt like he had to go with it. I'm a huge Andre Ward fan. I'm sure he's gonna, go to keep doing his thing at HBO or doing that commentary stuff. But good for him, man. And if people are upset, that's crazy. He's 32-0, 16 KOs. It's great, man. Number one pound for pound boxer in the world. What do you want him? Hang around till he has more brain trauma and falls off the top of the mountain? No way. Good for him, man. What's this? Kovalev talking shit?
No, he says it's just good for boxing that Andre Ward's retiring because there's other people in the division that can take his place.
Not really. Not at all. It's good for Kovalev because he can't beat him. And Kovalev's an amazing fighter, but Kovalev's not, he's not a household name. Andre Ward leaving is a big issue for boxing, but there's just not a lot. There's nothing for him to do. I'm sure if there was some amazing fights, or if he didn't outclass Kovalev like he did in his last fight, or if there's some huge payday, he wouldn't have retired. Probably would have done one more and went out on that bang. But it's good for Kovalev. Not good for boxing. Good for Kovalev because now he can probably become champion.
Do you feel like more? It seems like nowadays, like the last couple of years, more and more people are retiring. Like,
you think?
It feels like
Gomi and BJ are going, what?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It just depends. I think Andre Ward, you're seeing guys like, well, I don't know. I was going to say maybe guys who are financially set who don't have to fight to pay the bills. Andre Ward's set.
Should be. Matt Brown. Like I said, I thought he was becoming the head coach over at Muscle Farm Gym.
He's not set. Maybe he's content. Maybe he's smart with his money.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends, I think. And a lot of times guys are sick of doing it. There's nothing worse when you see a guy who's fighting to keep the lights on. He's a fighter he's been around forever, and you think because you see him on TV and he's had these big paydays, he's all set, and that's just not the case. He's fighting to keep the lights on, then you got problems. That's the bummer. I gotta pee real quick.
Go for it.
What else you got?
Speaking of fighting to keep your lights on, Crazy Horse Bennett, Charles Crazy Horse Bennett. Remember him from like the Pride days?
Hell yeah.
Back in the day. Really fun fighter to watch.
Yeah, the story of him knocking out Vanderlei backstage.
Backstage, yeah.
Him carrying a bat into Jackson's. Like he's Crazy Horse. He's
Yeah.
crazy.
He really was crazy, but fun.
Hilarious fighter.
Unfortunately, he went on social media to say that he needs to pay rent, so he needs a fight ASAP. So the person that called or came to his rescue was Cody Pfister. Remember Cody Pfister from the UFC? He's the one that took on Sage Northcutt, I think, in his first fight.
Yes.
So that's another guy who retired early. Cody Pfister retired early from the UFC, at least. And then he wanted to start his own organization. And then he did, called Fist Fight League.
Damn, good for him, man.
Right? And he's going to be taking on Crazy Horse Bennett. He's offering him a fight so he can pay, help pay his rent and everything else,
What
too.
a great story. Shout out to Cody Pfister.
Yeah.
God damn. I can't say I'm not surprised. The guy named Crazy Horse has financial issues and didn't invest in his 401k. He goes, well, it's official. I think we play the game till my strength scares him away. Let's give Cody Fist a hand. He's gonna need it.
I mean, it's really cool that he did.
Little Dick hashtag.
Little
This is Charles Bennett's personal Instagram. Hashtag Little Dick Black Man. Hashtag fuck everybody offended next year. Hashtag felony Charles Bennett. Felony? Yikes. Well,
the light at the end of the tunnel here is he's got his fight, and he'll be able to pay his rent
for this month.
Yeah. Well,
then what do you do next month?
I don't know. At least he got a fight, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Two birds, one stone.
Really, yeah. Good for Cody, though, man. Cody Pfister. Shout out to him. His league's called Fist Fight League. Mm-hmm. Fist Fight Night 2. Pfister versus Bennett, Wood versus Luna. Where can you get this? Where can people watch this?
I have no idea.
Netflix.
Yeah, no idea.
Either way, find the kid, Pfister, Bennett, and that is coming up the 30th, 9:30.
I'm sure you can Google it
September 30th, 6 p.m. on Netflix. I don't know what Netflix is. I know Netflix. I said Dreamcast. All right, what else you got? No, I get that reference. I highly doubt if you do.
I don't.
No?
No. Dreamcast?
I said Dreamcast.
The game station?
I said Gamecast.
You can pop up there.
Malibu's Most Wanted.
Oh, no, I didn't watch that.
No, you ain't ready. What else you got?
All right, so Floyd Mayweather tweeted a picture of his brand new mansion in Beverly Hills, and he has these two giant paintings. One's of him, and then one's of Conor McGregor.
It's pretty dope.
Right?
Exclusive, timeless pieces in my new Beverly Hills mansion. Hashtag 90210. Hashtag TBE. Hashtag TMT. Those are sick paintings.
Huge painting of Conor in his house.
That's cool, man. I mean, that's what paid for the house. And it's a fight for the ages. Mm-hmm. That's cool. I have no problem with it. That house looks huge.
Check it out. That's his mansion.
I like how when people are saying he was broke, when he's taking this fight because he's broke.
I know.
$26 million.
Yep. Look at this
Beverly
thing.
Hills. Well, I mean, it looks like the house from Django, but whatever. It looks identical to the house from Django, where Leonardo DiCaprio lived, but way nicer, with upgrades.
And
Don't get me wrong, it's a ridiculous house. However, see, the boxing legend doesn't waste punches. He wasted no time. Colin was earned more than $100 million. That's about $60,000 per second, or $300,000 per punch. Keep going down. That place is amazing.
It doesn't. I would expect a bigger house for $26 million though. But I don't know
The location, but I'm assuming it was in Bel Air. I mean, have you ever been over there?
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
I saw the houses. Crazy.
It's a great place.
I mean, it's
I agree
beautiful.
with you for 26 mil. I bet it's pretty sweet though inside. That kitchen's amazing. Look at the wine cellar.
Jeez.
God damn.
Okay, it looks a lot better now that I see these pictures.
Yeah, that place is sick. Good for him, man.
Cool.
The outside does look like Leonardo DiCaprio's Django's house.
It does,
though,
this
with
thing here.
upgrades. Pool a little small. Maybe it's like the second pool or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Location.
It's cool though, man. Yeah, great location. Sweet.
There you go. All right.
It's always weird, I feel like, when you buy a new house, if you're famous and they post it.
Well, it's always on there for the real estate market, right? So it's going to be.
But they don't know who's buying it. Let me see this. Mayweather. Well, hold on. Oh, LeBron James. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. What else you got?
Let's see. Oh yeah, Carlos Condit tweeted to Sean Shelby, "Yo, what's up, big guy? I'm wanting to fight in December, January. What say you?" And then Sean Shelby tweeted back a meme of Breaking Bad.
It's hilarious. Says you're goddamn right.
Yeah.
I love Sean Shelby, man. Shout out to Sean Shelby. One of the best to do it.
So there was a guy that retired, sorta, right? And then he came back.
He comes back. And who would they give to Carlos Condit?
Who would they give? He was fighting for the title and then he left, right? Robbie Lawler, like
Yeah, Robbie, and then
Stephen Thompson.
there's some fun fights for him. That Usman's going to give people problem.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't want to fight him. Yeah, I don't know. They'll find someone for him. I love watching Carlos Condit fight. But yeah, he retired and then he's back, huh?
Well, I think he retired. I don't know if he said it was official, but
He was thinking
left.
about it. I know that. Whenever you're thinking about it, it's always weird. I don't know. Maybe sometimes, especially after a fight, you're like, forget this. And then you have some time off. You're like, well, maybe I do want to do it.
That was those super hard fights with
He had some rough
Lawler,
fights.
yeah.
Rory MacDonald. What else you got?
Conor McGregor, according to Congressman Mark Wayne Mullen from Oklahoma, he said that Conor's team told him that Conor would speak on Capitol Hill about extending that Ollie Act to MMA, which would be the biggest voice ever, right, in MMA.
Yeah, that'd be great. Again, if there's going to be any change, you need guys like Conor McGregor. If you need any change, Conor McGregor's really the only guy. Unless everyone bands together and unites, which isn't happening. They've tried many, many times. There's just guys need paydays or guys need this or they're too young, too stupid. It's just not happening. So unless everyone does it, you have to have the biggest name in the sport do it. And Conor McGregor's the exact guy who could make a change. Might be the only guy right now.
He did boxing too, as well.
Unless,
so that's good.
like I said, unless all of them collectively are big, stronger than Conor McGregor, that's not happening. So you have to have a guy of his stature, is the magnitude of superstar that Conor McGregor has to make a change. There's really no other stars who could do it. I can't name one who could go, I'm not doing shit, or we need this in order for me to fight, who could make a change. There's not one superstar left who could do it, except for Conor McGregor. And why wouldn't he? He has enough money where if they're like, we're not going to give you this fight, it doesn't matter. He's the guy to do it. Hopefully he does it. It'd be awesome. What else you got?
Let's see. Oh, this one. So this has been everywhere. A fight in Brazil somewhere. It's like one of the lower level promotions.
Okay.
A guy was getting choked out, and the referee wouldn't stop it. For whatever reason, the referee just didn't notice it. I'll let you watch the video. But then, so the cornerman of the guy that's getting choked out just jumps over the fence and does his own thing. So I'll show you real quick.
So the guy catch him in a
So he's got him in a
guillotine,
yeah.
and the guy's not fighting at all. Oh, he's
Let's
trying
see.
to pull out.
Yeah. So he's still moving.
Okay. He's hand fighting.
And the referee's checking.
He's out right there. So he's out. He's clearly out. Can the guy not feel it choking him out? He's out.
Yeah. And then he's...
Why would you check his
leg?
foot? Why in the world would you check his foot?
Touches his arm. It's
what
not moving.
The fuck?
So then see that? His cornerman jumps in.
What a terrible... Oh, he's punched... Oh, but here's the problem. The cornerman jumped in and started beating up the guy.
Yeah. So the guy on the bottom goes on top, and he checks on the other fighter, even though he got punched in the face by the cornerman.
There are so many issues with this video. And we'll end on this, and then we'll get into Rory MacDonald and Douglas Lima. There are so many issues with it. Number one, the ref's a fucking moron. So when the guy's in jeopardy of getting choked unconscious, you pick up his ankle, you check his ankle. All right, that's the first problem. Second problem, the guy doing the choking. You know when a guy is out. You clearly know. You can, I don't know his experience level, but it seems like he has some experience in jiu-jitsu applying this guillotine. You know when a guy is out. That's on you too. So you could have stopped at any given moment. 3, the guy jumping into the octagon. Why would you attack? Why would you punch that guy? Why not just separate it? So that doesn't make sense. There's so many issues with this fucking shit show of a promotion. That ref, for a guy getting choked unconscious and you to grab his ankle, god damn it. And then the guy doing the choking, it's just a shit show.
At least the guy checked on him, though. The guy that was choking him. I mean, although you said he should have let go.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Because that's when you can kill a guy.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about when I saw this, too.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the sweet, smooth sounds of Rory MacDonald and Douglas Lima. All right. I am joined by, and I'm willing to argue this against anyone in the world, but I have the best welterweight on the planet sitting here in studio. Ladies and gentlemen, Rory MacDonald.
I won't disagree with you.
I won't disagree. You start arguing with me, that'd be great. I'm like, no, come on, man. I wish. It'd be so much fun. What's going on, man?
Not much. I'm having a good time in LA.
Yeah, they got you kind of making the rounds.
Yeah, just doing the regular stuff, pre-fight stuff. So I did like the promotion, filming, like, interviews and stuff like that. Yesterday, just doing interviews since then.
Was this short notice coming to LA?
Yeah.
Super short notice.
Yeah, super short notice. I went and watched that fight on the weekend for Bellator.
Good fight card.
It was. Yeah, I was happy with it. And besides that, just doing my thing for the fight.
Doing your thing. Are you going to do some training out here too?
No, I leave today.
Oh, in and out.
Yeah. Yeah, because I actually had plans with the family and for training out in Kelowna and BC after our vacation in Hawaii. So this was kind of just like a last minute thing.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's LA. At least you get to do things. Yeah. I always say whenever, I've told the story on Rogan before. I've told it on here. Like, you're a guy that you're the most skilled welterweight in the world, but a lot of people don't see your personality. I've been out with Rory MacDonald. Like, I know Rory, and like there's a lot of layers to you. Yeah. Like, people are like, no, he's kind of introverted and he's kind of very robotic. I'm like, not really. In the interview, he is. He's actually really funny. I told Scott, and I told you this when they signed you. I'm like, oh, you guys, you gotta get Rory out of his. I'm telling you, if you try, you can get him. Like, he's a funny dude, man.
Yeah, things have been going good at Bellator. I feel a little more comfortable, and like just the team here, it's structured a little better. I have more leeway with getting more attention with the promotion, and better questions coming my way. I'm feeling a little better about it. So more of my personality's coming out here for sure.
I feel like when you decided to switch, or I guess make the change, because your contract was up with the UFC, right?
Yeah.
And so you just went to the free market. And were you kind of swaying towards the UFC? Because I haven't really heard you talk about this. Were you swaying towards the UFC? Because it's always scary. And I tell Phil Davis when he's on the show, and I tweeted this, maybe I DM'd this. I said, you're the Rosa Parks of UFC fighters. Like, you're the guy who took the first step. Was like, nah, man, I'm making a change. And he was dead honest. Was like, I was terrified, man. because like especially when he did it, like he's ranked top 5 in the world, legit threat for the belt, big name, Sprite, Lugs. He has these big sponsors. When he left, Bellator wasn't exactly where they're at now.
Yeah.
I mean, Bellator's killing it now, and they were making some moves, and we know Scott Coker was involved, but when Phil kind of made that leap, everyone was like, "Oh, this is gonna work out." You know what I'm saying? So for you, and you're a smart guy, so I'm sure there was some sort of.
It actually was a long process.
Really?
It was after the Lawler fight, where I'd taken that damage. I had some time off of my nose, and I had one more fight on my contract. So I'm thinking, I got to start making some money now. You know what I mean? After especially I got to that pinnacle of the sport, my idea of what I wanted out of this was changing. I got to that top level I always dreamed of, didn't work out, but now I got to start taking care of myself, because if I don't, no one else is.
You also have a family.
Yeah, I didn't at the time.
But I'm just saying,
now definitely it's like magnified to a whole nother level in every part of my life. I'm focused on getting what's mine, but before it was more about just, I think we even spoke about it. It was just being a champion. I was just focused on that, being a fighter, getting the championship, and whatever happens, I don't care. Because I'm pretty comfortable with what I have beforehand. I didn't come from anything, so I was comfortable with nothing. But now, looking in the future and becoming older, your priorities start changing.
But and for you thought you'd get to that pinnacle, and people forget like your kind of mentor and partner in crime was George St. Pierre. Mm-hmm. We know like he got to the top and he ran with it. And we see the paydays and the kind of life he was living, the camps he would structure.
Yeah.
You guys both from TriStar, so you see like what's possible, and then you just weren't seeing that. Is that what you're saying? Like as far as you're saying compensation and the lifestyle?
I wasn't comparing myself to George. He was in a totally different ballpark than me, and we're a lot different. The way we live our lives and things like that. Yeah, we're different people. But it was more for me after going through that fight, knowing what I had made, even the bonus I got afterwards, and I was thinking, that's one of the best fights of all time, and
some say the best fight.
Yeah, it's up there, it was
top
a classic fight,
classic
fight, and I'm just thinking in the future, like if I keep having these fights, I should be getting some payday, because other people are getting paid for that off my sweat, and blood. So, I know what I'm worth as a top level fighter, and I went out there and I got it. I took a risk fighting out my contract going against Thompson. Didn't work out in that fight because I fought like shit.
Fought too soon though.
Well, yes, that, but I also trained stupid for it too.
How so?
Okay, I was trying to be a karate fighter.
You're trying to match karate with karate.
Yeah, and it was a slow process over the training camp. At first, I was telling Faraz, like, no, we got to focus on my strengths. And, and then slowly we started, like, we brought in Raymond Daniels and doing too much karate counters. And before you know it, I'm doing all karate and doing stuff that, you've seen the fight.
Yeah.
It came out not me at all.
No.
Yeah.
I figured, like, before that fight went down, I had you as the favorite, and I thought, Roy's gonna come out. He's gonna have his wide stance, because it's not like Wonder Boy kicks out your legs or anything like that. You're gonna stay behind your jab and wait for the opportunity to capitalize on Wonder Boy leaping in. But you're just gonna stay behind your jab. And if the takedown's there, you're gonna wear his ass out.
Yeah, I was working on counters and stuff like that. Things that they're not my strengths. I'm a pressure fighter. I have good hands. I have good jiu-jitsu, good ground and pound, solid wrestling, and I needed to implement that. If I fight him again, you'll see a big difference. It won't be the same fight. Mm-hmm. But
and so you lose that fight again. So you're coming off 2 losses, even though you got the classic fight, which some think is the best welterweight fight.
Yeah, I was riding momentum off of that.
And then,
sure.
which is kind of a win, because before that big shot by Robbie Lawler, where you told me it went like all white, like your nose and all that. Like,
well, it was like when it hit, I knew it was broken. I felt like the floodgates open. It was mostly going backwards
in your throat, right?
Yeah, I was swallowing most of the blood,
Been there.
which is the worst thing, And it was a high-paced fight, so it was stressful, Yeah, but I was dealing with it as best I could. Tried to put him away in the 3rd. Tried to put him away in the 4th. And then after I couldn't put him away at the beginning of the 4th, I was pretty much in survival mode.
Yeah. And but so you have your 2 losses, but it's top level guys. And then going with Bellator, you're already kind of 1 foot out the door after that Thompson fight. Is that where negotiations started to go?
I would say even before the fight.
Oh, damn.
I was already very focused on a contract negotiation after that.
Because a lot of and I've had a bunch of Bellator guys in here, they say a lot of times, and it's not a knock on UFC, it's just apples to oranges. So when you're dealing with the UFC and the UFC brass, although it's different now, WME, and we don't even want to get into that, but when you're dealing with, Dana White and the brass there, it's a completely different experience than when dealing with Scott Coker. A lot of guys Larkin was like, dude, I was in the airport and my agents were going back and forth with the Bellator brass, and Scott Coker just called me. I was like, yo, here's what we're offering. What's it going to take to get you to sign, man? What are you thinking? We're cutting through all this red tape. I know it's weird for me to call you or whatever, but I feel like a lot of guys are one of the reasons I signed with Bellator is because Scott Coker just treats me like a human being, not this business type of, weird promoter kind of, you know what I'm saying?
It's a different vibe.
It's a different vibe.
Absolutely. It's a little more, it's run different, There's not the hierarchy like UFC has.
Yeah.
It's more chill. It's I will say though that UFC's organization, their staff, the way they run things is top notch. You know what I mean? It's one thing Bellator could pick up on.
Yeah.
They need more staff as they grow. With the more A-list fighters they want over from the UFC, they're gonna have to grow as a team too.
A lot of when I retired, I gave a shout out not to the UFC brass, but to the workers in the UFC, because they're the ones who are making the circus run. Like when we talk about Burt Watson, Shonda, and just all the employees that go into it, that really you deal with more than anyone. And just the smooth machine that they had. Now it's a little different, but at the time, that smooth machine that they had is what made the UFC.
Yeah, absolutely. It was something I got used to,
But with Scott Coker, you look what he did in, what's it been, 3 years? See what he's done in 3 years. Imagine another 3 years.
Yeah.
And the pace that he's moving at and the guys that he's signing. I mean, I can only imagine. I think as far as them getting that team together, it's going to come. Especially as things are getting bigger.
He knows for sure. He knows what's going on with his team, I don't see it being an issue going forward.
And when they signed you, I remember you said, I'll fight at gangster weight. Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, because
any of that.
I sent out that reply to his text.
Yeah, which I love.
Yeah, so he knows I'm down.
He knows I'm down. And then your first fight was Paul Daly. Do you have much say in who you're going to fight, when, anything like that?
No, not really. I mean, I have my requests.
Sure. Was Daly a request or no?
No.
Because he's scary. I mean, he's a scary fight.
Lima was my request. Obviously I wanted the title fight, but, it was still a good fight for me. Got the win back in my sails after those 2 losses, the long layoff. And
I think it's exactly what you need.
It probably was, but the fighter in me wanted that big opportunity.
That's why you're Rory MacDonald. But look, from a business standpoint, I thought it was brilliant because Paul Daly's super dangerous, knockout artist. Everyone's pretty familiar with him. We haven't seen you fight in a while. Your last fight with Thompson, everyone's a little worried about your nose. And everyone's like, is Rory going to be the same? Because some of the media was like, yeah, he's lost 2, his nose, who knows? And then you come and just freaking, avalanche Paul Daly. Everyone's like, holy shit. And I want to say Rogan was like, that's the best. I think he even tweeted out, said that's the best welterweight on the planet. Like, holy Christ, Rory MacDonald.
I'm telling you that it's I'm bringing a different style to the table now. I'm just focusing on my strengths. I'm keeping it simple. I know the direction I need to take a fight, and I'm very clear on what I have to do when I step into the cage. Whereas before, like I was saying earlier today, being a well-rounded guy, starting in mixed martial arts, you learn so much and you have a dynamic skill set. And with martial arts, there's rabbit holes everywhere. You could go down this avenue of martial arts and just get lost in it. And for years I did that because it was so exciting. Oh, I could learn this. Oh, I could learn that. And I ended up getting sucked away from my core strengths.
Foundation.
Yeah, my foundation. So those things got me some new skill sets, so to speak, and probably are a blessing now. But now that I'm here, I have all that fight experience, those years of training and hard work and focus. I really feel like I'm in the zone, and it's going to show in my fights. It's going to look exactly like the Paul Daly fight.
Yeah.
I'm taking that same style, the pressure, with high skill level against these guys, and I just don't think that they're going to last.
I mean, I would say, you have a resume that's pretty crazy, but I mean, I don't think Douglas Lima gets the credit that he's due, especially he has the most knockouts in Bellator history. He's a champion for a reason.
He's good.
He's good. His striking's legit.
What he did, he'd be a competitor in the UFC without a doubt.
I was saying before he came on the show, I was saying Lima, wherever you want, he's between, I'd say he could hang with anyone in the top 4 in the UFC. I'd probably have him ranked in the top 6 in the world.
Yeah, depending what matchups he gets.
It's all about matchups.
Yeah.
Especially for a guy like him.
Yeah.
But you look at his striking, it's high level.
Absolutely.
It's a tough test for you for sure.
100%. I'm not
have
taking
you
him
beat
lightly.
Bigger and better guys? It's just a different animal,
Every fighter is, and I'm just focused on my strengths.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm going in with now against everybody. Yes, so I see his fights, I see his strengths, I see what kind of animal he is. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to have that outlook where I need to change this, need to change that, like I did against Thompson. And I'm not going to get lost in the martial arts rabbit hole like I did with Robbie and just kind of let things fall where they may,
Yeah.
and have a wild barn burner. I'm going to go in there with a clear direction, and take these guys out, put a hurting on them. I don't want decisions. I don't want points. I want a martial arts contest. And for me, martial arts is about hurting someone and not being hurt. So that's what I'm going in there with, that mindset. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to hurt you and I'm going to finish you.
I dig it, man.
Yep.
You're straight up going for finish, but you're saying it now too, where before I felt like you were a little reserved. But if you've trained with Rory, you've seen Rory, like he's an animal. Like you have a bad streak to you, which I think most great fighters need. Like I was too nice. I didn't want to hurt anyone. Like, you're like, nah, man, I'm trying to hurt him.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to hurt him. I have no problem with Lima.
No, that's the game.
It's not a personal thing. I'm cold to whoever I fight. I respect them. I need them as an opponent. But at the end of the day, I'm going to punish you, and I want to make you look bad.
Another big reason with you coming over from UFC to Bellator, and I think this is good, and hear me out here, is like Larkin has not found his groove in Bellator. 0-2, ranked top 6 in the world in the UFC and welterweight at the time. Ben Henderson hasn't found his groove. Phil Davis obviously has. There's guys who have came over and kind of done their thing, but I think it's so good for the sport when guys like, and again, I love Larkin, I love Ben Henderson, when they come over and they struggle. Because, in Bellator, especially in the top 4 in any division, maybe heavyweight's a little different, but in general, in the top 4, any of those guys in Bellator can compete anyone in the UFC, for the most part. But there seems to be a little bit of a stigma where people go, it's Bellator's step down. It's like, it's really not. Because when you look at these guys who are world class and you've seen them come over and struggle, I think it's good. It sucks for them, but I think it's good.
It opens the eyes to the level of talent.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, people are going to get marketed, from the UFC. They're going to buy that, that marketing that the UFC power has. I think that's what it is, really.
Do you think, did you feel pressure, especially when George retired? Because George kind of put Canada on the map as far as mixed martial arts. I remember I'd go train with George. We'd go to lunch. It was like with Tom Cruise. Shut the street down.
Yeah.
You're talking about a fighter, like the biggest I've ever seen, man. And he's carrying this Canadian flag. He was kind of the freaking president, going around everywhere. And then I remember he fought in Toronto, 70,000 people, biggest I've ever seen. I think you fought that night too. Did you find the same card?
Yeah, I fought Nate Diaz.
Yeah, that's right. Amazing fight. So, did you feel any pressure, especially when George retired, to kind of take that and run with it? Because there's not a lot of faces in Canada. You know what I'm saying? It's such a big market.
I kind of accidentally kind of maybe got more popular and eyes on me because of his retirement, but I still think we're totally different characters and styles. I think I have a different dynamic in the fans' eyes, maybe, because I'm, like I've said to people, I'm not Captain Canada. Never tried to be.
No, you don't want to be.
No, I'm not. It's not my look,
Yeah.
It's not what I'm about. It's not my journey in mixed martial arts. I'm not here for a legacy. I'm not looking to be clean cut or this. This is what I am. I'm on a personal journey. This is who I am, and I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
And that's it. Take it or leave it. And I think some fans can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I guess it's a little different vibe than George got.
100%.
And I don't want to be George. I just want to be me.
I'm not saying you want to be George. I'm just saying, like, there's two kind of polarizing figures in mixed martial arts, especially in Canada. And I always call Toronto the capital of mixed martial arts, especially the UFC. Like, going around there, I mean, they love fighting there, man.
Yeah.
And once George retired, and then you're in your prime, and now you're in Bellator, like, it just, to me, it made sense. Like, all right, here's the guy. And you've always, whether you've liked it or not, you've always been like, all right, here's the second cut. Like, this is it, man. Like, this is the guy. And for a long time, people would say, Sage Northcutt, and you see, like, he grew up doing mixed martial arts. He's the kid. He's the new wave of guys who just aren't good at boxing. I'm like, whoa.
He's more
Rory was the first.
Yeah.
To be honest, Roy's the first and was the one who's successful at it. Sage Northcutt, he's young. You were young too. People
I would
forget.
say Sage grew up as a karate guy, though. I don't know if he grew up quite the same way. He started with karate. He was very focused on that karate background, strong karate background.
Super.
Me, I was literally MMA. That was my foundation from the start.
Yeah. I felt like there was pressure on Sage because, and it was similar pressure that you had, but you passed it, and he hasn't.
Yeah, different vibes going on there. I mean, he came off that television series, Find Me a Fight or something. Dana White's thing.
Yeah, Fighting
and
a
then
Fight.
They really
Fighting a Fighter.
Yeah, they really pushed him early on, but I mean, he's still got a lot of time to grow.
100%. No, he's going to be good. There's just a lot of pressure on him because he comes from that background, and everyone's like, God, this is the new age of mixed martial arts. I'm like, well, Rory was kind of the first, man. Let's hold the fort here. You know what I'm saying? With George coming back, does that surprise you at all?
No, I knew that was coming.
Why do you say that?
Even when he was like telling me he was retiring, and he was saying that for a long time too while he was champ. But I told him, like, why are you stressing it? If you want to come back, you come back, and it'll just be bigger than your fights now. It'll be like a bigger thing, So if you don't feel like fighting, this is not the industry you should be doing if you're halfway in it, you know what I mean? So I think it was a good thing, and now he feels ready, so this is the time.
This whole time, what's it been, 4 years? Has he been at TriStar training, stuff like that?
Yeah, he travels like crazy. So
doing what? Just like,
I don't know.
What's a retired guy do? He just trains, travels, and trains.
Yeah, but he does a lot of like sponsor stuff and like movies, but the guy is a training machine. He's like,
that's what he loves
he's
to
the
do.
OCD type where it's like, if I don't train, I'm gonna lose something. So the guy didn't.
So he's
training.
been in the gym. It's not
yeah.
And things at TriStar are good.
Yeah, I split up my training though. I've been going back home more and doing where I've been doing more training with where I started in at Toshido in BC. So I did my majority of my last training camp there, and I'm going to do the same for this fight.
So the fight's January 20th at the Forum here in Los Angeles. I will definitely be there, especially if I'm in town.
Cool.
Always like to see you fight. Douglas Lima, and you'll start camp November?
End of November.
Yeah.
I think I looked on the calendar. I think it's that, end of November-ish.
And then if you have a crystal ball, now that you're overlooking Douglas Lima because he's a tough test.
Yeah, no worries.
But how do you see your time in Bellator going?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like if you were Scott Coker.
If I could make everything happen the way I wanted it, it'd be Lima. I'd fight for the middleweight title, whoever wins that fight in October. After that, I'd probably sit back and see where the landscape is. I wouldn't mind fighting for the light heavyweight title if I won those two.
Not mad at that.
It would be pretty cool. I don't think anyone's ever tried to do that. So I'm going to, I'm not trying to look too far ahead.
No,
but
that's what I'm
if
saying.
I get to that middleweight fight and I get it, I'm not going to say no to a light heavyweight fight. And Chael, I'll fight him. MVP's got a lot of excitement. I know I'll probably have to defend my belt against him.
Against MVP?
For sure, why not? He's exciting. Fans like him. The thing is he doesn't fight enough against high level guys. So it's like maybe if he beats like one of those, Paul Daly, like that's a title contender,
True.
So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, for him, and I love watching MVP fight. He just, your grappling's gonna be some serious issues for him. Like if you don't play the game,
Yeah, the dynamic I have, it poses a lot of problems for anyone.
For him, it's a nightmare, though.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, I am.
I agree. I'm just saying. I'm saying for him, if a blue belt walked in right now, it's a nightmare for him.
Yeah.
Let alone Rory MacDonald taking him down.
To his credit, he's athletic. He's gonna know where his cards lie and where he's gonna want to keep it.
He's a dangerous fighter for sure.
Yeah, he's a strong counter karate fighter, and explosive as hell. Very athletic, but I think I know how to shut those guys down. I'm looking forward to that fight. I think the fans would love it if he got to that title contender spot. I think that would be a huge excitement.
I think he's boxing, right? November.
No way.
I think he's taking a boxing match.
Oh, wow.
Almost positive professional
Well, that's not
boxing
good for his MMA career.
Yeah.
It slows things down for Bellator, in my opinion. But who knows? Biggest fights, wherever the landscape is at the time being, I'll take it.
I dig it, man.
Yeah.
I wish you the best too, brother.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're coming. Predictions before we get you out of there. Also, we know you think you'll win your fight.
Yeah.
But GSP Bisping.
GSP.
Easy?
I don't think you can have an easy fight against Bisping. He's one of those grinders, resilient. He's going to be there to the end. But I think if George comes in with his strength in mind, wrestling, top position, ground and pound, submission,
Stay behind the jab.
whatever, work behind it, and get him to the ground. I think his ground game is going to demolish Bisping.
You don't think 4 years layoff ring rust play an issue for George?
I don't know. That's the mystery.
Right.
The training is one thing. He can look great in training, which he does. But I've seen so many fighters crumble under the lights where it's like, oh, this guy's going to be amazing. And like when you're sparring him and you have training camps together and then they get in the ring and it's like, that's not the same guy.
Yeah, what the hell happened?
But George is one of those people that no matter what situation is, you put him in a situation, a high pressure situation, he's going to deliver.
Yeah, he's better under the lights.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. And like he said, he performs best under fear. He's
fear driven.
Yeah, it seems
that's
like
fair
it.
to say.
Yeah,
He's fear driven.
So I have high hopes for him.
I think out of crystal ball, I think GSP fights Bisping, wins by decision, and then fights Connor in a super fight at 70.
That'd be so sick.
That's what I think happens.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. Good business.
Good business for everyone. Good business for mixed martial arts in general. Man.
Yeah.
But I tell you what's good business is January 20th at the Forum in Los Angeles.
Yeah, come watch
Douglas
the
Lima.
beatdown.
You come watch the beatdown. You're gonna be tough to beat, man. It's gonna be tough.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to beat. I look forward to seeing it, ladies and gentlemen. Rory MacDonald.
Thank you. Thanks, bro.
Thanks, brother. You're the best, man.
You too.
Well, January 20th, live at the Forum, Bellator. We got the man who will be facing Rory MacDonald, the champion, the badass, Douglas Lima. Thanks for coming on, man.
Pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
I know they got you making the rounds. You're busy. You're probably sick of this by now.
No, really.
No, you're
I
good.
enjoy doing it, man. Yeah,
It's a
fun.
good. Heavy lies the crown, man. When you're the champ,
No,
this is the stuff you
comes
got to
with it.
do.
Exactly.
And like everyone wants to be a champion until you realize that it's more than just fighting. I was talking to, I was in New York doing an interview with Deontay Wilder, the heavyweight champion of the world boxing. And we were talking about how everyone wants to be a champion, but there's so much more at the table when you become a champion. Because you got media obligations. Anyone who's in your division is going to call you out. Like you kind of know these monsters waiting in the shadows for you.
Yep.
So for you, has it been a good? Obviously, you got into it because you want to be a champion. But has it been a good experience being a champion?
I love it. I love every part of it. Traveling, doing stuff like this. Man, I'm making the most of it.
Yeah, you
seeing
sure
different
are.
places, and I don't mind it at all. It's
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Is it how satisfying is it for you to fight guys like Lawrence Larkin, who obviously are super successful in the UFC? They make the transition. They're ranked high in the UFC.
Yep.
And I was saying the same thing to Rory, where some people might have the assumption that Bellator's a step behind UFC, or they just don't know.
Yeah.
Or I also said this to Rory as well, as at the 170-pound division, I would rank you. I mean, you can fight anyone,
Yeah.
whether overall in the world at 170 pounds, whether it's UFC, Bellator, name any other organization,
Yeah.
you're a top fighter in the world. So I think it's good that these guys come over and you kind of show your skill set.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity, pretty much. I knew for a long time that I could compete with any of those guys, any of them. It doesn't matter. And proved that in my last fight, against Larkin. Man, Larkin is a tough dude. He's tough as they come, man. He's a tough striker. He wrestles when he wants to.
Yeah.
And I pretty much beat him most of the fight. Got the good decision over him. So, man, it's not going to be any different with Roy, man.
Roy's a different animal.
He's a different fighter, but, man, same jaw. Same jaw, man, I'm telling you. I know he's a good fighter, and he's been a lot. He fought, a lot of good guys out there, but, man, I'm not, I respect him for all that he's done, but
Sure.
comes fight time, I'm not, man, I'm the champion,
Yeah.
I'm looking at it like, man, you come into my territory, I'm here to prove where I belong,
Do you look at the, obviously he had the big Paul Daly win,
Yeah.
which was his first fight in Bellator. You beat Paul Daly too.
Mm-hmm.
Then before that, he's coming off 2 losses with Robbie Lawler and Wonderboy Thompson. So I don't think you're going to take too much away from the Daly fight. I guess, he struck with him a little bit, then took him down, submitted him.
Yeah.
But the fights, I think, more your style. Obviously, Wonderboy was all stand-up. Robbie Lawler was a lot of stand-up. Is that what you're kind of focus on when looking at tape on him?
Yeah, pretty much. In all of his fights, too, the past ones. I don't know. Let's see how he's going to react when he gets hit in that nose,
Yeah.
He said it's healed. I think it's healed. But you never know, if it starts to bleed again, let's see how he's going to react to that, because I heard his fight against Wonderboy, he was having some trouble with it. I think he got popped on it first round, second round.
Yeah.
And then he was a different fighter after that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Yeah, he's a fighter, man. He fights standing, for example, he can't take me down. He's going to strike with me the rest of the fight, so he's the type of guy that I need, and he's going to bring a good fight, you know what I mean? So, man, I'm looking forward to it.
Do you think like a win over a guy like Rory MacDonald, and you look at the list of guys he's beat, is this the validation you need to get, I don't want to say more respect, but maybe more mainstream?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Rory's a big time, as far as like legit contenders, probably the biggest signing in Bellator history, if you think about things.
For sure. I think Rory fought tough competition his whole career. Pretty much all of his fights in the UFC was against top ranked guys. He's got some good wins. He's got a win over the champion. There right now. Woodley's considered the number 1 right now.
Yeah,
because he's a champion in the UFC, and Rory beat him pretty good too. It wasn't even close. So man, win over him. He's gonna put me over there top 3. Hopefully, like you said, the mainstream. Everybody would know, not just the MMA fans. That's what I feel. I feel hardcore MMA fans know who I am.
yeah,
But the rest.
yeah.
They don't, man. It's like, who's this guy?
Do you feel any pressure to put on fights or perform it? Because it's not. I don't think it's a disrespecting. It's just it takes a while for the public to get used to it. Where if you look at your resume and it kind of adds up. It's like, hold on. So he has the most knockouts. He's the number 1 knockout artist in Bellator history.
Yeah.
It doesn't make and that's what people are drawn to.
Yeah.
So what's he missing? I guess maybe a huge win over a huge opponent. Although Larkin's a tough guy, super tough. I wouldn't say Larkin's mainstream. Larkin's the top. I don't care where you're at in the world, top 10 guy in the world. You beat him.
Yeah,
Beat Daly.
I don't know what's missing, man. I really don't. Because, man, like I said, I hold the record of KOs in Bellator. My career is pretty much a highlight for most of the fights. I finished guys. And still, people are like, man, people don't know.
Does that bother you?
It does bother at some point. Honestly, yeah, it does, man. Because, man, I'm putting in work. I'm delivering some of this, devastating KOs. There's some knockouts that's pretty bad,
Yeah, it's impressive.
And... people don't know, man. They don't see it. I don't know what's missing. Of course, a win over Rory, I think it's going to change a lot of things.
Agree. It's a huge opportunity.
It's an opportunity. You know what I mean?
When you signed with Bellator, did you think you'd be? And I thought it was going to be the fight of the night. It wasn't fight of the night. It was a good performance. I think it was fight of the night. But did you think you'd be fighting at Madison Square Garden?
Never.
Never. Right?
Never thought I would, man. Because we started little shows, man, like casinos, middle of nowhere. Then I go there. I think on that fight too against Larkin, I put too much pressure on me. I thought
Really?
I wouldn't, but I did. There's some points on that fight where I could have pulled the trigger and could have finished, but I was like, I think fight-wise I showed too much respect, because, Madison Square Garden, Larkin coming over, some great wins, and that's the thing I'm not going to do against Rory. It's like, man, you're fighting me, you know what I mean? He's doing that should be with the pressure and stuff like that. So that's something that I take away from that fight.
Was that the first fight you felt that type of pressure? Because
yeah, it was.
Madison Square Garden, you got Fedor, on the card.
Yeah.
You got Chael, you got Vanderlei, you got all these legends.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest night in Bellator history. You're the knockout artist. You got Lorenz Larkin. I thought both you guys showed too much respect.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
too.
there was
him as well.
Yeah, him as well. He didn't fight like himself. You didn't fight like yourself.
Yep. Yeah, that's a mistake. In a card like that, you shouldn't have that type of respect. And it's like, man, just let it go. Let it go. I watched the fight now, and I'm like, man, what are you doing? You know what I mean? It could
Still got the win, though, at least.
Yeah, we got the win, but I like to win impressive. I like to go there with a big finish, not just for the fans, for myself. I want to keep that record up. I want to get those KOs and keep that list going, So, I'm not doing it this fight. I'm not holding anything back now, man. Especially against a guy like Rory. You got to bring it. You know what I mean? You got to bring it.
You got to get him into
He's
that
ready.
dog fight and get after it to get him out of his rhythm.
Exactly, because, man, he can't stay comfortable there.
Yeah, if you let Roy stay comfortable, he can stay behind his jab, stick and move, and he's comfortable. You look at the Jake Ellenberg, you look at even the Woodley, he'll stick behind that jab and just win off points if you let him.
Exactly. Yeah, they can't let that happen.
But then if you go at him, then you got like a Robbie Lawler fight on your hands where he'll be like, all right, we're doing this.
I like that. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take that fight over a boring fight any day.
100%.
I don't care how beat up you get after, but, man, that's a good fight right there,
And if, not that you're overlooking Rory MacDonald, obviously it's a huge task, but in a perfect world, if you're Scott Coker, what's next for you? Because you look at the welterweight division, you beat Larkin, so you beat Rory, you beat Daly, Korshkov, who's a nightmare. What's left? What do you do?
We'll see. Maybe some rematches here and there, but, man, like I was telling some of the guys, I can move up too, fight the middleweight
You're
champion.
a big-ass welterweight.
Yeah, I mean,
You came in there, I was like, God damn. But in shape. It's not like you're this out of shape.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not out of shape, and I'm actually lighter than before. Man. I'm a lot lighter now. I'm staying like mid-90s. I used to go 205, at one point, 208. You know what I mean? So I'm keeping it low because, man, I don't like those massive cuts. The cuts.
It's just not healthy,
It's
man.
not
Especially
healthy,
as you're getting
man.
older.
Exactly. I'm getting older. I'm getting smarter. You know what I mean? I don't want to cut that much weight. Against Larkin, I didn't cut that much. That was the best cut I've had, and I felt good. I fought 5 rounds. I was fresh. So that's the thing I'm trying to do for this fight. Just stay low. And after that, maybe a middleweight. That's fine. Like I was telling somebody else, I don't want to hold up the division too, though.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a guy that just fighting these fights that favors me. It's like, nah, man, I want the tough fights. I want the tough competition. I think for me, that's the best way to get the name out there, fighting tough challenges. I'm not here to fight any buns. I belong, in the top. I have the belt. I got to fight who's next.
Yeah.
I think that's important for me.
I hear you, man. Like when Larkin was in here, I asked him his weight. You remember this? I asked his weight, and he was like, who asked another man his weight? Like, he was not happy about it. Just because he's a big welterweight, too, man.
Yeah, Larkin's
he
big.
was big. We were talking about food. I was like, hold up. What do you weigh right now? The fight's like in 6 weeks, bro.
He's a big kid, man. He's
Some
really
people
big.
do that, though. Like, I've seen fighters. I mean, they're huge, man.
Yeah.
They figure it out. But over time, you can't. There's no longevity in that. And guys are learning, and they're missing weight. They're just it's just not the way to go.
Yeah, man. I never missed weight before, but I got to a point one time where I thought I was gonna die, man. It's like, man.
How so?
It's like 3 pounds left. I've been cutting for like 5-6 hours already, and it's just not coming off, man. I was like, man, if I go back there again, I'm gonna stay there. You know what I mean? I do, but the thing is, comes fight time, I feel good. I'm able to recoup. I'm able to feel better. But man, this last 10 pounds it's a struggle to come out.
Have you seen kind of a change in the way you prepare for fights over the years? Now that you're a veteran, you're a multi-time world champion, have you kind of seen a way, because before you came in, I was talking about how there's no really science yet on how to run a camp. Yeah. Like, we don't know the perfect way to run a camp. Yep. GSP kind of set the blueprint as far as doing all this other stuff and doing gymnastics and yoga and a nutritionist. He kind of came with a more professional attitude towards it, but we don't know. So this guy over here might do this. You might do this. Roy's doing this. Phil Davis doing this. Everyone's different because it's hard because no one has the answer.
Yeah,
and and obviously, I mean, especially, you know, back in the day, you would spar a lot. You get hit in the head a lot. You'd go have these wars in the gym. But now we know more about CT, brain trauma, stuff like that. Yeah. So at least the smart guys start taking a little bit of that out. So have you seen, as you've gotten older, you've become, you know, this kind of face of Bellator, especially the most, you know, the knockout artist that you are, world champion. Have you seen kind of a change to the way you address camp?
Oh, for sure, man, for sure. Especially after those injuries that I had. You know, I had those crazy knee injuries. I was pretty much out for 2 years, you know, the best time of my career.
The prime,
right when I got the belt, you know, and then bam, that happened. Infection, you know, I could never walk again. I could have lost my leg.
Jesus.
With the infection that I had. So weird. And, man, like sparring-wise, man, I spar maybe once. Like in camp, I spar once in 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I spar one time. Like, man, I don't need that here, man. I don't. I've been fighting for 11 years, been training for like 15, 16. It's like, man, my body's beat.
Yeah, if you don't know how to spar, like if you don't know how to fight at this point, probably not for you.
It's like, exactly. I
like,
already know how to
fight. In there for?
Exactly. I do little gloves like sparring, not
light.
banging to the head light, but a lot of hard wrestling, stuff like that. But man, sparring, no.
Once every 2 weeks.
Once every 2 weeks when I'm in camp. Right now, I don't even spar. Pads, I kill the pads. I love hitting pads.
Yeah, you
I
go
blast
nuts.
it. I go nuts. I go like I'm fighting, you know, five hard rounds. You know, wrestling, a lot of jiu-jitsu. I train a lot of jiu-jitsu, but man, as far as sparring.
Did you grow up fighting?
No. I was never, you know.
Really? In Brazil?
I was scared of fighting. I'm still scared of fighting today. Like street fight, man. Sign me, get out of here. I'll run. I'll be the first to run if it's a street fight.
So how did you get to this point? You're a kid and jiu-jitsu was your...
Man, I just loved fighting, but I was just scared of it, like streets and stuff. But I just loved movies and stuff like that, martial arts, you know, but loved it.
And so you walked into the gym, jiu-jitsu gym?
Yeah, I started jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai at the same time.
Which was, you were how old?
I was 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
Right when I came here, because I came to the States in 2000. You know, I started training maybe 3 years after that. Fell in love with.
You came here because your whole family came here.
Yeah, my dad, mom, and my brother. You know, better jobs, opportunities, and I used to love soccer back in the days. I thought I was going to be a soccer player until I went to the gym the first time. Man, I just love it. Love it. I was being decent at fighting. You know, I used to play around with my cousins. You know, I had something in fighting, and. Man, first time I was there, I knew I was going to do this for a profession.
Really?
Yeah.
And your brother followed?
Well, my brother is big. He was big into football at the time. You know, he played in high school. You know, he's got had an opportunity to play out, but he decided to quit and start fighting as well. So he started after me, maybe 4 or 5 years after.
Because you were doing it?
You kind of,
yeah.
Yeah, you know, he loved it, you know. Saw me fighting, I think he enjoyed it as well. He was always training too a little bit, you know.
And was your mom and dad like, we came all the way from Brazil and this is what the hell you guys do?
They hate
like,
it.
We come to America, we sacrifice all this shit. and
jiu-jitsu
in Brazil is everywhere. There's fighting everywhere in Brazil. Yep. We go all the way to America and you guys found it here.
Yep. Man, I hid it from my... I told him I was just training, but I hid from my dad that I fought. The first time that I fought, my dad didn't know. You know, my mom signed the waiver because I was 17 at the time.
Type move, Mom.
Like, Mom, I love doing it. I have to do it. You need to sign this. You got to let me fight. You know, so she signed it, you know. My dad, man, I showed him the video. It took him a good 3 to 6 months to watch the video.
What?
Yep. He just sat there. My mom told me that he watched him one time. Man, nowadays he's one of the biggest fans. He loves it. You know what I mean?
How did that first fight go?
He was good.
Knockout?
Was a knockout, man. The guy.
You knocked him out bad?
Trapped in the cage, 17 years old. They loved it. You know, he was pretty good.
Where was this fight at?
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
It's actually, it's funny, man. It's a guy. Right now, it's the guy that got my career on his hand. He works for Bellator. I don't know if you met Mike Hogan.
Yes.
Mike Hogan was the guy.
What? Did you know this? You guys know this? You knocked out Mike Hogan?
Mike Hogan
fought Douglas Lima? What the fuck? That's hilarious.
I mean, I'd say
he's a grown man. How old were you? You were 17. He was how old?
He was probably close to his 30.
God damn.
You got to ask for him to tell the story. It's hilarious how he says it, you know.
That's gold.
And man, like weigh-ins, I didn't see him. You know, they called me Tuesday. The fight was Saturday. You know, they were like, "All right, man, we got you the fight. You ready?" Of course, I'm ready. I'm super excited. As a kid, I was a kid, man, but I, love training. And the day of the weigh-ins, I didn't see him. I was like, man, what if this guy is big? You know, I was nervous.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
Fight day, I see him when I stepped in the cage. Then I see him walking out. I was like, dang. You know,
It's kind of short.
a little short, thick. You know, I was just a skinny guy. I didn't even cut a pound. I was 173, I think. That's the way that I fought.
Damn.
And man, Mike Hogan.
What'd you hit him with?
Man, honestly, everything but the kitchen sink. Man, I was just so excited. I was pumped. And man, bow, head kick. And then I think an uppercut caught him in the second round. And he just turned around, tapped on the cage while I was striking.
Oh, damn. It was
bad. It was
he wanted out. He wanted out. So your dad saw that?
He saw, 6 months. I had the DVD there. You know, he was just waiting. I guess he was just waiting until he was ready. But
And then how many did it take before your dad started like coming around to it and realizing
a couple.
his son was a badass?
He realized that something that I love doing it. And man, funny, the first fight that he went to see me live, it was in Atlanta Phillips Arena, big show
Really
for
big
the
show.
AFL, and that's the fight that I lost.
Really? The one he came to?
Yep.
Oh,
First
damn,
fight.
Dad.
But man, he enjoyed it. I was like, man, it's not as bad as I thought it would. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then from there on, he supported 100%.
And he loves it now.
He loves it.
He loves it now.
Supports.
Realizes that you know what you're doing. You're a world champion.
Yep. And then like when I got my belt back against Koreshkov in Israel, I took him there. From
really?
Brazil all the way to Israel, and he saw it.
Oh,
He
damn,
was
sick,
backstage, man. It was awesome. He hasn't seen me fight live for like, man, maybe 7 years or something. So
No?
man, he loved it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we got the win, we got the title, so he was good.
Do you get a lot of reception, like I should say good reception from the Brazilian fans? Because there seems to be a stigma with Brazilians when their guy who was born and raised in Brazil leaves and comes over to the States. Granted, you were 12 and it's your parents' decision.
11,
it's a little different, like a Claudia Gadeja who left and went to ATT, or a guy like Anderson Silva who leaves and goes to Redondo Beach and opens up his own gym. I think the Brazilian fans get mad at that. So have you found like you have more support from the Brazilians, but you weren't really, I shouldn't say you weren't raised in Brazil, but your career wasn't raised in Brazil.
Everything was
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, I get support from some of them, but some of the fans, especially like social media and stuff, I post something just in English. I write something in English, and I see a lot of guys, man, the heck you talking about speaking Portuguese? You're Brazilian. You know what I mean? So it's hit and miss when I fight, because they show the fights in Brazil, and they, really talk like I'm Brazilian. This Brazilian guy, blah, blah, blah.
You're Brazilian, for God's sakes.
I am.
You're born and raised, you're born there, you're 12.
Yeah, I mean, I lived most of my life here, 17 years in the States, but I do get a lot of support from the Brazilian fans.
And Brazil could use like a guy like you, especially. They should, because you look at most of the Brazilian, it's almost fair to say legends like Anderson Silva on the back nine, Big Nog retired, Little Nog back nine, Shogun back nine. You look at everyone, like a lot of them are older, man. Yeah. So if they're going to direct their attention towards anyone, I think, and I'm sure Bellator is doing this, they should make a huge push for you in Brazil. When was the last fight in Brazil?
Bellator, never.
Get your ass to Brazil, Scott Coker.
Yep.
Have Roy Nelson, Bobby Lashley as the co-main event, and they got Douglas Lima versus whoever next as the main event.
I can't wait until they go there, man. I never fought in Brazil. I want to fight there so bad.
MMA's so big in Brazil, man.
Huge.
I fought all over the world. I ain't never seen a crowd like when I fought Big Nog. I mean,
that's right,
that crowd was the weigh-ins. I was like, oh my, what the hell did I sign up for?
Yep.
Walking out, let's be honest, like there's no mixed martial arts without Brazil.
Yeah.
Like mixed martial arts, that's Brazil, man.
Yeah.
Like you guys live for it.
Yep.
And you have how many stars? You got Jose Aldo, like so many. I'm not even going to go through. You have so many. I guess right now you got Jose Aldo, but still he's kind of, back nine. You got Cyborg doing a thing.
Yeah, Cyborg, that's good. I mean, I think they need a young champion.
That's what I'm saying. You're this knockout artist. There should be a
more
huge push
there.
for you out there.
I wish I could get some more push in Brazil. I got to start working on that because, MMA is huge there. It's huge, and I love
huge market.
We'll see.
You're doing your job, man. The rest you don't got to worry about.
I mean, I'm not a
Poker
big
listen to the
talker.
show. He might be like, you know what? Let's go to Brazil.
We're working on it.
Give me a
I
shout
think.
out after you knock out someone in Brazil, maybe. We appreciate you coming on, man. You got a great story. I've been a fan
problem,
for a while.
Appreciate
You're one of the
it, man.
best
Thank you.
in the world, man, and nothing but continued success, my man.
Appreciate it,
So
man.
January 20th, here in Los Angeles at the Forum, he's taking on Rory MacDonald. It's going to be a hell of a fight. Tune in, everybody. Douglas Lima.
What's-
All right, there you have it. Two of the stars in Bellator. I mean, Rory MacDonald obviously doesn't get much bigger than that for Bellator. And then Douglas Lima, man, I got to be honest with Douglas Lima. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. Talking about the best knockout artist in Bellator. He's been doing it for a very long time. You know, he did have those 2 years off with the injury, stuff like that. But he's a good story. He's a great interview, good story, good guy. That's a hell of a fight. It's a hell of a fight. And that fight is January 20th at the Forum here in Los Angeles. I'm sure I will be there or working it in one way or another. I'm looking forward to that one, man. They got a bunch of other big names that should be announcing soon. So Bellator in LA, I'm looking forward to that. But I appreciate both those guys coming on, Rory MacDonald and Douglas Lima. Two of my faves, man. Just good people to be around, good guys to have on. Yeah, those are guys you'd want to talk to, whether they're fighters or not. So really appreciate those guys. For me, I'm trying to think my next show. I'm at the Comedy Store tonight. Probably when you're listening to this, I will be driving to the Comedy Store because I don't know when this is coming out. I'm at the Comedy Store tonight, 8 p.m., 8:30. I think I'm the first one up. You got Joe Rogan, Russell Peters, Brian Callen. The list goes on and on. There's some monsters on there. But I am at Calusa Casino early November. Why it's not up yet, I have no idea, but I'm at Calusa Casino early November. I will post a link when tickets are live, but I'm sure if you go to Calusa Casino, they have their tickets for sale on there. But that's the next show, man. And then I think also end of November, I will make a return to Ontario, California. What's that? Is that considered the Inland Empire?
Yeah.
Ontario? It's a good
No,
one.
no. Is that Inland Empire? Okay, I don't know. I'm bad at that stuff.
I think it's Inland Empire, Ontario. I'll have news on that as well. Chinder shirts and Dick Diver tees for Fire and Kid will be dropping next week. Other than that, man, appreciate you guys listening. As usual, bigger, browner, badder. I'm out.